What is going on, everybody? Happy New Year. It is episode 517 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We are back from the holidays. I hope you enjoyed yours. And we have a lot of ground to cover. That much is obvious.
Okay, so here's the thing about taking that much time off.
Yes.
Is it becomes very anxiety riddled as
Really?
people. Yes. Okay. So people cover a lot of this stuff over the break. A lot of people who operate in the same space as us end up covering a lot of this stuff. So there was just so many stories that were coming out. I'm like, oh, we're going to miss that one. We're going to miss that one.
All in due time.
Yeah.
And nothing that important is going to be missed, I promise. I did follow orders and watch the Star Wars holiday special over the break.
Give everyone your review.
I guess this is a mini review. I mean, I don't even know what to say other than like, WTF was that? Like, it felt like a fever dream, an acid trip, and I've never even had either one of those.
It's like when
I can't believe they paid them enough to even, like, the main cast to be in it. Why were there so many song sequences, and why were they so bad? How did they like actually greenlight this to be televised? Like, you know, there are checks.
Yeah.
And how did they get people to watch the second movie after this came out?
Less people.
Like, I'm left with more questions than answers.
Nowadays, it'd go viral on YouTube, and then it'd be game over.
Yeah. I really hated the prolonged scenes of Wookiees grunting at each other with no subtitles. Like, you're just supposed to assume what they're talking about.
It's like West Side Story. If you don't understand Spanish, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah. Why is Chewbacca's father named Itchy, and why is his son named Lumpy?
I had a friend in school whose nickname was Itchy because his last name was Ichikawa.
I mean, I get that it was mainly the Wookiees because you don't have to pay them as much as the main cast. But yeah, that was just as bad as you all said it would be. So thanks for making me watch that. Yeah. We have a $20 one from Quite Blackpilled, said 2024, let's go. First super chat, suck it everyone else. You win.
In the chat here, Ben Ryder says, Brett, we cannot hear. Cannot hear what?
Cannot hear what?
Can't hear what? Everything should be fine. Good?
I don't know. I think you guys can hear us.
Yeah, should be fine.
Yeah.
Double check, but yeah.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat to suggest otherwise.
Yep. I was just double checking to make sure everything was okay. So, all right. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today. I'll keep monitoring the chat to see if anything happens. First things first that we're going to be talking about is Mickey, my friends. Mickey is for the streets. He is now part of the public domain, or at least the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey is in the public domain. And at 12:01, as that happened, we got a trailer for Mickey's Playhouse, a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey style horror movie that is going to be coming out in the summer this year, in the spring this year. We're also going to be talking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who I literally had no idea who this person was. I had to be told who this person was over the weekend. I'd never heard of her.
You'd never heard of her before?
Never.
Really?
I'd never heard of her.
Okay, I feel like we have mentioned her at least on the show before, but she's becoming a bit of a true crime local celeb. She just got released from prison, and she was in prison because she basically was an accomplice to her mother's murder. There's a whole Hulu series about this. We'll get into it.
We got another $20 one there.
Oh, Eric Myers said, Happy New Year, PCC. My usual ad for Magical Melody, my rom-com about a beautiful fashion designer juggling office rivalry and building a family. Sorry for the repetition, but I'd rather support PCC than random ad buys.
No, that's like we had to watch a trailer for a movie called Challengers today, which makes me yearn for some type of traditional rom-com.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, so thank you for that, guys. What else are we getting into today? We're going to be talking about actor Tommy Dorfman from
Pronouns she, her.
Pronouns she, her from 13 Reasons Why.
Yes.
It was an actor. If you guys saw the very viral video that came out over the holiday break of the based in red pill Delta employee.
Bro really thought he was going to be the next Tiffany Gomez with this one.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I really like airport drama videos.
It's becoming its own
It's its own genre. Yeah, in social media. But it really backfired on this actor. He wanted to cancel this employee for misgendering him, and it didn't work out. So we're going to talk about that.
We're going to get into that. Also, guys, if you didn't know, there was a thing that happened. It was called CalendarGate, and everyone's still recovering. I personally...
It was traumatizing. It really was. For everyone involved and not involved.
Yeah, like... Got to curate that timeline, ladies and gentlemen.
If we could lose more faith in humanity, CalendarGate happened.
The only way this could have been better is if I had the calendar open behind us.
However much faith in humanity you have, it's too much.
Yes, and this
and CalendarGate proved that.
So people were arguing about whether Josie, the redheaded libertarian, showing her ankles in a pair of high heels truly was demonic.
Was it harlotry? Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that and all the other things related to CalendarGate
and Cakegate.
And Cakegate. You guys
missed that one.
You conservatives wonder why you always lose. And
conservatives. I feel attacked.
I'm just saying. You wonder why you always lose. It's just so we'll get into that. We are also going to talk about the biggest upcoming movies of the year 2024. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got so much to get into, so little time. But Mary, are you ready to just get started?
I think I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead and just get started then. We can do this. Oh, we also put a poll up, ladies and gentlemen. We did put a poll up because it is the new year. I asked everybody. I said, do you make New Year's resolutions? And it's kind of important.
Looks like most of you don't, so far at least.
What is your opinion on this, on New Year's resolutions?
This year, I didn't have any. I don't want to hate on people who do.
Exactly. Okay, so that was my point. It's like, I get the nihilistic worldview that so many people have. Like, my favorite meme that came, it was the memes that said, like, already effed up 2024, 2025 is going to be my year. But that's the nihilism speaking, right? Like, I'm not going to, in a world full of nihilism, I am not going to poo-poo the people who are deciding to be optimistic, even if it's kind of misplaced optimism because most people fail. That means some people succeed.
It's like, if you cared about your resolution as much as you say you do, you would have started it months ago.
There usually has to be
whatever
some
it
type
takes to get you out of bed in the morning,
Like for me, about a month ago, it was a month ago today, I quit soda. It was like the 2nd of December. And that was just because I wasn't feeling well. And it had nothing to do with the new year, because if you keep waiting for that date, it's not going to matter. It means that it's more about the time than it is about actually making a change. So
I think that I can definitively say I like New Year's resolutions just because the dominant culture is so much about, like, you're enough, you're perfect, you are, flawless just the way you are. You don't need to improve yourself ever. Because that's the equivalent of hating yourself. And I hate that mindset. And any amount of self-improvement that people want to do, as long as it's not like, my New Year's resolution is going to I'm going to go to therapy more. As long as it's like, going to the gym or something. Yeah. I support that.
Yeah, like I'm one of those. I have a very like visceral reaction to people who just live by the idea that you're perfect just the way you are. Because nobody's perfect just the way they are. The idea that you can't strive for more is actually really detrimental to society.
Allie Beth Stuckey's book is like, you're not enough and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that, I think telling people that they're enough just deflates them.
Yep. I
demotivates
don't like
them.
It's really, really frustrating when it's just like, I have like a whole folder on my Instagram, like of saved things where it's just like, I disagree with this. And it's all things like that.
I disagree with this.
Like, I vehemently disagree.
We should like dive into that one day.
We might be able to do that.
That would be fun.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started then. Shall we? If you remember, also, I'm getting back into I was wondering, I put in the chat earlier, I said, am I going to remember how to do my job? Yes. Yeah. Guys, hit the like button on this video, please. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. We will get to these $20 super chats here in just a second. Remember that all super chats $20 and over, we will read them right then and there. We will then get back on topic. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers. We passed 90. I set the goal. I said I wanted us to get to 90,000 subscribers by New Year's. We got there 2 days early.
We did.
So we are on our way, guys. So if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that. We got a couple more $20
and guys,
there.
How about we make it to 100K before the end of January?
That would be good.
Right?
That would be good.
Shoot for the stars. High Voltage 75 said 90K, let's go. A new party sound for the new year. Welcome back, PCC.
How about this? There will be a new party sound for 100K.
Yeah, that's a good goal.
Also, we will do like 100K. Like when we hit 100K, we'll do a special stream, I think.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Gordon Shumway said, Mary, you now know how we felt way back in the 70s. I know you don't know any of the actors that were in it, but I guess rent was due and the bills don't pay themselves.
That's
Jefferson's Starship was a surprise for me. I did recognize, B. Arthur from Golden Girls. And there was another cameo from I don't know who it was. It was literally a cross-dressing man in blackface. So apparently that was acceptable in 1978. That was the year, right?
Yeah. 78 or 79.
Crazy. And then we have another from 810 Metalworks saying, my New Year's resolution is always to not have a resolution, and I kill it every year. Hello, Brett and Mary.
Somebody also said, like, if I make a resolution to fail all my resolutions, I can both fail and succeed at the same time.
That's the ingenuity we're looking for.
It's really. Or no, my favorite thing was like the. Have you ever seen the memes where it's like a person? It's like my 2023 goals. It says like lose 10 pounds, and it just crosses out the 0, and it's just 1 pound, and it goes to like it just has to change everything subtly.
Think outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? If you remember, we reviewed Five Nights at Freddy's. We didn't think it was all that special, but it did very, very well at the box office given the budget for this film. And it looks now that they haven't even greenlit the sequel on this yet. Given the fact that 2024 has 17 sequels coming out, that's kind of surprising.
Kill me now.
Yeah.
Look, this was a commercial success, obviously. I don't think it was successful at artistically being what it aimed to be. It wasn't. It didn't live up to my hopes.
Yeah.
And I don't have high hopes for a sequel, but it makes sense given that it did so well.
It will end up getting made. It's just, I mean, also, like, it came out kind of close to the end of the year. Maybe they just waited till the new year to get going on it or something like that. Usually they don't wait that long. Usually they want to greenlight something as soon as possible, which I always find annoying. Like, I'd rather they build the tension around it. Like, one of my big problems with DC is that they're always making these announcements, and I'm like, can you just stop announcing stuff? Like, literally, when you have
stop announcing, start doing.
Yeah, like when you get the trailer, then we'll talk. Until then, kick it. I don't want to hear about it. Right? So, all right.
Oh, and another undeserved success for Wonka.
Oh, I mean, look. This is one of those movies that me and you didn't like it, but it was the family movie to watch over the holidays.
Well, that doesn't change that it sucked, really. You know, like, let's just be honest about our thoughts.
Look, my reasoning for not liking the film was pretty subjective. So, like, I understand fully that a lot of people are going to see it differently than me. And a lot of the critics did like it. Like, a lot of the people thought it was perfectly fine. It didn't work for me, but for a lot of people it did. This
is not the same character that was played by Gene Wilder.
No.
Or played by Johnny Depp. And a lot of people didn't even like the Johnny Depp version.
But
this isn't the same Willy Wonka.
One thing somebody pointed out was said, like, look, everybody hates dark and gritty, but this is actually a more positive spin on the character than what you get in the past movies, right? So like, that's actually something for them. They're like, wow, like I expected.
But it's like, look at his dark, gritty backstory.
Yeah.
So it's back at #1.
And he's got that. So
deserved.
he doesn't just have that, but also he's got Dune coming out this year. So Timothée Chalamet is look.
He's popping.
It was really weird hearing people being like, he's so charismatic. I'm like, that is truly a subjective statement then, because I get none of that from him. I think he's a perfectly fine actor.
Do you have any opinions about his real life personality?
Who's he dating? He's dating Kylie, or he's dating one of
Kylie
the,
Jenner.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
That just seems like a weird
it's not
relationship.
that can't be real. That has to be PR.
She's just like, who can I date that's popular right now?
He's just a very dude bro, like bruh, like TikTok brain.
Is he? Is that what he's like? I always figured he's just kind
Seems
of
like it.
a weird art nerd. Given the roles he takes, he's a weird art nerd.
Yeah. Then when you pair TikTok brain with musical theater background,
you get Timothy Chalamet. That's fine.
And I'm not a fan.
He spells his name with 2 E's. How good can he be, right?
And he's everything wrong with what the male beauty standard is in 2023.
Not masculine enough.
No.
Not masculine. But he's skinny. He's got that going for him.
I did watch Die Hard because my brother forced me to, and
thoughts?
It's not for me. It's not made for you.
It's definitely not made for you.
It's definitely made for dudes. It's a dude movie, and that's fine. But it is a Christmas movie. I am going to plant my flag there.
We should listen to the Trump Christmas song.
But there were just so many it's dated.
Yes.
There were so many corny one-liners
That was the style back then.
I know that was the style. It's just not something I'm able to appreciate.
I want that to come back.
What were the one-liners again? I don't remember.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother effer. Yeah,
Welcome to the party, pal.
And then there was a lot of it where he was just kind of sitting around and loitering in the building. And his wife wasn't very likable, so I kind of didn't want him to save her. You know?
Let her die. That's what the Ryan Johnson version
I mean,
of the
she
movie
was
would have been.
she was kind of a girl boss. Yeah. She was like, that's Ms. Gennaro to you, sir. Even while he's fighting for her life, she has to go by her maiden name. Not a good look.
Question for you, Mary. How do you feel about hyphenating?
Hyphenating is stupid. Yeah. Hyphenated names, look, if anyone watching has a hyphenated name, I'm sorry, but...
Like a married hyphenated name.
It has to stop at some point. Yeah. Someone's name has to win. What if there are 2 people with hyphenated names that get married? Who wins? You're just going to have 4 last names and we're just going to keep multiplying?
I like the idea of of 2 people with the same last name, but they're spelled differently. Like
Who
Johnson
wins?
and Johnson, one spelled E-N, one spelled a O-N or something.
Yeah.
And they hyphenate because they can't let the other win.
Practically, it makes no sense. And also, spiritually, I just think that, when you get married, you take your husband's name.
Well, it's the downfall of Western society, Mary, that we're getting away from that.
True. It's so true.
So if you guys remember, we've in the past, people have talked about how Donald Trump is a time traveler. Well, apparently Taylor Swift is also a time traveler. Are you ready for this?
She's a time traveler. She's the Antichrist. She's a witch. What is she not?
Watch this, guys.
A 1981 commercial.
Collection. Dolls, party place,
look at her.
Firebirds. The show
she looks
place
just like her, whoever this lady is.
Separately. You can send in proofs of purchase from any 3 Glamour Gals dolls. Jessie, Danny, Lonnie, or Shara, and any of 3 outfits. And get Jessie in fancy formal free. Details are on the specially marked packages. Offer expires on March 1st, 1982. Glamour Gals Collection. Jessie and beautiful bride. Other
you also wouldn't get that made today. I
know.
New from Canada. The Glamour.
Those aren't Barbies, are they? They're Barbie knockoffs. So in 1981, Taylor Swift was actually doing commercials for knockoff Barbies.
Yep.
It looks just like her, though. You're right.
Yep. Somebody sent me that.
Someone said reality is Taylor Swift is just super generic looking.
That's just rude.
I'm not willing to accept that. I think she has a unique face.
All right, guys. Let's talk about Trisha Paytas, because I only know. There's a lot of things in this job. There are a lot of things that I would not know anything about. HRH Collective,
collection,
same
Brett.
thing. Stupid. That person. Trisha Paytas.
Most YouTubers.
A lot. Well, yeah, for the early 2010 YouTubers, yes, in a lot of ways that I wouldn't know about.
It was my childhood.
Because it just wasn't my world. But there she's now.
Thank you.
Thank you. She is now doing something with The Weeknd.
A collaboration, unspecified.
Does she sing?
Yes. Okay. Trisha Paytas is more of a podcaster, more of a YouTuber than a musician.
Her as a podcaster.
But she's also an author. She's a model. She's an actress. She's a singer. She is a multi-hyphenate talent.
So you're okay with hyphenating as long as it's your talent,
Yeah.
not your last name.
So she does have a music career. I wouldn't say it's as big as The Weeknd's, but apparently they have a collaboration in the works coming soon. And all of the comments were saying, does The Weeknd know about this?
No, it feels
and it's
like,
actually, it's probably like his evil twin brother, The Weekday.
It feels like my manager spoke to your manager, which is how I feel about all celebrity friendships. When they're friends, it's like, yes, it's politically and socially expedient for you to be friends, therefore you're friends.
Yeah, I mean,
What did they talk about?
I wouldn't have seen this coming, but I think it's The Weeknd who needs the promo, not her.
No.
He just had that flop of a show, The Idol. His career is in the tank.
His career is not in the tank.
He needs Trisha Paytas to prop him up.
It's funny too, because I was actually thinking about this. So back in 2012, I remember somebody who like there was a skating edit released by this dude. It ended up going within the community quite viral to a Weeknd song back in like 2012. And that's over a decade ago now. And I just remember being really pumped about it because I was like, this was back like, it was like a dubstep cover of one of his song or like version of one of his songs, but it was legitimate R&B, which is not something you usually pair with sports like that. But it worked. And he's been around for
dubstep was a trend,
and already on its way out by that point.
Yeah,
really. If we're being honest, I still remember some tag team in the WWE and like NXT had a dubstep theme song in like 2014, and I was like, "What is this?"
Put it to rest.
I was like, "What is
guys.
this team's name? Missed the boat? Like what the hell? Like it's like you're done and gone."
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So be on the lookout for that. Though The Weeknd has, for the most part, been kind of formulaic for the last couple of years for most of
That's
his
what I'm
music,
saying.
but
He needs the boost.
It's
from Trisha Paytas.
But most people just take the slop they're fed anyways.
True.
So, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Kanye has decided to apologize. Apparently his liking 21 Jump Street wasn't enough.
He had to apologize again. So he has just posted an official apology in Hebrew onto Instagram to apologize to the Jewish community. It says, "I sincerely apologize to the Jewish community for any unintended outburst. It was not my intention to hurt or demean, and I deeply regret any pain I may have caused. I'm committed to starting with myself and learning from this experience to ensure greater sensitivity and understanding in the future. Your forgiveness is important to me, and I'm committed to making amends and promoting unity." Do you think that he's being genuine, or is this like I don't know. Is this a pander for the upcoming album? People were already offended by one of the lyrics, saying that he, took a Jewish woman out on a date.
We missed a $20 here from.
Oh, did we?
Yep.
Sorry.
From Derp says, "You're trying to find reason and a logical progression in the Star Wars Holiday Special, Mary. The explanation is Quaaludes, cocaine, and money to burn. You didn't try to watch it sober, did you? Happy Life Day."
I did. I guess that was my first mistake. Whoops.
There's a lot of things in the world that are better on drugs. You just shouldn't do it, guys. You should stay away from it. It's not good. It's not good at all. Like, I mean, that's what
like watching it was sort of like being on drugs. So, yeah.
That's even worse though. There's certain things where like I can't watch Requiem for a Dream anymore.
I haven't seen it, and I don't want to, based on what you've said about it.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be as. It wouldn't be.
I'm not into depressing stories.
But I'm not.
Though.
No, but here's the thing. It wouldn't affect you as much as it affected me because it like the hopelessness of that movie is something that rang true to me, so it's different. But I think like you might get something. It's quite an emotionally evocative movie. I think you might actually like it if you watch it. But for me, I'm just like, I can't do that now. I'm just not going to do that. It's too depressing. So.
Well, you should watch the Star Wars Holiday Special next Christmas.
We'll wait. All right, and Ariana Grande is back in the news because the home wrecker she's not even sorry.
She's not even sorry, and surprise, surprise, a celebrity is playing the victim card again, and this time it's Ariana Grande. She's unashamedly a home wrecker, and she's going to actually try to tell us that she was the victim in this situation. Here's from her New Year's post. I've never felt more pride or joy or love while simultaneously feeling so deeply misunderstood by people who don't know me, who piece whispers together and make what they want out of my life. But it's not a rumor. It's just the flat out truth that she got with a married man who had a newborn baby, and his own wife spoke to the press about it and said that she is not a girl's girl, that this was a total betrayal, and that they got together before they were divorced. So it's not really a rumor, it's just a fact.
I guess like the logic could be like a lot of like, look, when a lot of these stories come out, then rumors grow on top of that. So she's likely, she has it out there by saying like, oh, they also said this or this about me.
They get caught up in the legalities of it all.
She's like, I heard the rumor that he's SpongeBob SquarePants. He is not SpongeBob SquarePants.
Even if the guy got divorced a week before they met or something, that still doesn't make it cool or okay to get with a recently divorced man who has a newborn baby. But that wasn't what happened. So
wait, can you explain that previous part?
This one tweet says, you met the wife, held their baby, then effed her man. What's to misunderstand? The victim mentality is insane. And that is the order of events. Okay. She was friends with this couple. She held their baby. They were friendly, at least, with each other. And then she got with her husband.
It's Arnie and his maid all over again.
It's worse. It's worse than that, because now Ariana Grande is going out in public with this guy. The paparazzi are taking photos of them, and she's like not even embarrassed. There's no shame in this culture anymore.
Can you explain the first part of what you said to me? So you said like if they had been recently divorced.
Look, it's not okay to look. She knew him before he was divorced, right? But even if she waited to get with him until after his divorce papers were served to his now ex-wife, that still wouldn't make it okay. Legally, I guess, if you're going by the legalities, but these are people who don't even care about the sanctity of marriage in the first place. But that's not even what she did. She didn't even wait until they were legally divorced.
No, I understand that part. I'm saying
she didn't even wait until she herself was legally divorced.
So, but if they were both divorced, and they waited until both of them finalized their divorce, they're free. What is the acceptable waiting period?
She's putting this wife through a public humiliation.
Well, technically the husband is putting the wife. They're doing it together.
Well,
but
they're both doing
the
it.
The husband is not a good dude for doing that. Right?
Yeah, and you know, Ariana Grande is obviously far more famous than Ethan Slater. SpongeBob on Broadway, if you didn't recognize his name. And I think this is ruining the PR for it's ruining the PR for Wicked. Yeah. Because a lot of people are seeing this and saying like, I don't want to watch this movie because it's going to be distracting me the whole time, that they got together in the middle of filming and were cheating on their spouses together.
Like, I guess, like, to me,
it's not a good look.
If both of them were divorced and nothing happened prior to the divorce, I guess I just don't get it. But like, this is not that.
There's no way nothing happened before the divorces anyway.
Yeah. I just see it as.
But even then, you know what should happen? Ariana Grande's ex-husband Dalton Gomez and Ethan Slater's ex-wife should get together as a little revenge plot.
Well, it's the couple from Good Morning America.
Yeah, literally.
They're what was that? It was like Amy
TJ
Robach.
Holmes and Amy Robach's ex-spouses got together after they were cheated on.
I thought you didn't like that. I thought you thought that was cringe or something. I thought you said you didn't like that one. I could be misremembering that.
I think that it was more like immature, like trauma bonding that they got together after they were cheated on. But the real revenge best served cold would be if they stayed together and ended up actually falling in love. Yeah.
That would be great.
Definitely.
Like for Ethan Slater, like it is very clear. It's very Hollywood, right? Like There's no loyalty there. There's no. I still keep hope sometimes because I still because I look through when I'm watching movies and television. I do a lot of looking through the people that are in this. I see a certain amount of the television actors that have been married for 15, 20 years, and that's cool. To me, when you're blue collar in Hollywood, which is television used to be the blue collar version of Hollywood in a lot of ways. You were working very, very hard, at least long hours every day, 6 days a week, 17 hours a day. If you're the star of a TV show, you're working 17 hours a day, 6 days a week. So that's not easy work. Even if people don't like your job, it's not necessarily easy. But you'd see some of those people that have been married for 20. Tom Hanks has been married for 30 years or something like that, or 20 years.
I saw Chet over the holiday.
I thought I sent it to you,
Chet posted a selfie with Tom Hanks and captioned it "gang."
Yeah. And but he also did you see the thing where he's talking in his dad's ear during on his story? Oh, it's so good. I wish it's gone now because it was on his story. But no, he's like I don't even remember what he's saying, but he's just annoying his dad with his phone. It's very, very juvenile, and it was making me I'm like Chet.
It's like, Chet, I don't need this right now. People are talking about the flight logs on Twitter.
Yeah, well, okay, so for these two, it's not an example to set for society, but people shouldn't be looking to celebrities for their relationship examples anyways.
No. There's this new crop of female, basically it's musicians, female artists who are extremely messy in their personal lives and are extremely immature. Selena Gomez is one of them, and Ariana Grande is also one of them.
Yeah.
And they just look like flops when you compare it to Taylor Swift, whose whole personal life is perfectly curated to public relations.
But hers is a mess too, just in longer increments. It's still it's become.
She somehow makes it look flawless.
And
Taylor Swift isn't getting with any married dudes.
It's because she monetizes it.
Yeah.
She monetizes it. Also, it's different for guys because guys being the pursuers, if your life is a mess, it's just seen as part of being a bachelor.
Pete Davidson is a good
Who's he with
example
now?
of that.
He's with Madeline Klein.
He is.
So I was watching this video the other day. It's these guys who are them taking notes on and then by the end of it, Pete Davidson ascends to the heavens as your new Lord and Savior.
What people don't understand is that Pete Davidson's success with getting all of these hot women who are seemingly out of his league, it really has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with his riz or his sex appeal or whatever. It's because all of these women are getting confirmation bias from each other that this guy is highly sought after and has high status. That means that I'm attracted to him. But it has everything to do with the female attention that he has been getting.
Yeah. Women, this is something the red pill dudes all talk about a lot, right?
It's intrasexual competition between the women.
It signals to the women that you're a good mate.
Yeah.
If you have all of these hot women that have been part of your life in the past.
Once Ariana Grande ditches Ethan Slater, is he going to have a string of girlfriends that are highly out of his league?
What he needs to do is he needs to have a major glow up real fast.
Not possible. It is not possible. That if you look at that face, it is not salvageable.
He needs to just get to the.
Or SpongeBob on Broadway, your reputation is not salvageable.
He needs to call Matt Rife and be like, I need to know who your doctor was. I need to chisel my jawline. I got work to do.
And then when you factor in how much he looks like Ariana Grande's brother, it just gets even more weird.
Is she just aging and now she's panicking a little bit?
I don't know, but even if that's part of it, it doesn't make sense why she is trying to look bad.
Yeah.
Both in her physical appearance and in her reputation.
Maybe she lowers herself to his standard to meet at.
She's starting to look more and more sickly the longer that she's been with this scumbag.
Could be her subconsciously.
It's rubbing off on her.
Yeah,
they're starting to look alike. I hate it.
Well, they say couples start to look alike after a period of time.
And this is an unpopular opinion, but I will restate it. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle look alike. They do. I don't know if they did at the start, but they definitely do now.
I don't see it, but I don't see it personally.
We'll do a physiognomy analysis on them at some point.
All right, guys. This is a big story. This was it went very viral over the weekend, over the holidays. So if you don't know, Mickey Mouse has entered public domain. In this case, the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse from the 1928 film has entered public domain. And at 12:01 on the date that this became true, you got multiple trailers for multiple projects that seem to be implementing that version of Mickey into their work. The first one, of course, being Mickey's Mousetrap. Which, if I had to, I think I made a tweet about it. I said it's FNAF meets Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah, let's take a look at the trailer for this one.
I've got it here. So here we go, guys. This is for Mickey's Mousetrap. I'm gonna give a bad acting disclaimer on this one. I am.
These are the best party that we can throw.
I've seen some rejections in my time, but man, that was a good one.
There's blood all over the jungle gym.
Blood.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like completely in love with me already. It's totally disgusting.
Put the phone down! Put the phone down, please!
I was like, dude, I've already started.
No, Gina, turn around, please, Gina!
They needed more work on his costume. Here it comes.
He's dead.
What?
Like if he was in a horror movie, you'd never say, "I'll be right back," because then you don't.
If you're gonna plagiarize from the movie Scream, at least do it right, please. Please.
Mouse is out.
Where the hell did he go?
Okay.
They're
giving Blood and Honey a run for its money. Get it?
He needed to be like a foot tall. Like they needed to get like Kane Hodder or Hodder or whatever his name is. They need like the tallest dude imaginable. Like that's the problem, right? The dude in Blood and Honey, the dude was just kind of wide. You need like they needed to get a pro wrestler, like an Undertaker height level.
Might have been out of their budget.
There's some wrestling fans in the chat. Imagine if they had Braun Strowman, the dude behind that mask. The dude's gigantic, right? Then at least it's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mask was pretty good. Is this going to be in theaters?
Yeah, it's getting a theater release, I think, in March. So
we need to review that.
We'll review it. So I was double checking. So he's got he doesn't have the gloves. The other thing is, like, notice the eyes are black. That's characteristic of the Steamboat version of that. A lot of people who are discussing this still believe that this could end up getting a lawsuit from Disney. My question is, if you were working on this before the copyright ran out, does that matter? Right? Does it matter that you waited to present it or that you were already working on it at that point? But a lot of people believe that that they might end up actually getting a lawsuit. The thing is, though, like, no one's mistaking this for Disney.
No.
Like, no one's mistaking this for a Disney property.
It would have been a more fun concept for this to happen in the theme park, but that's not an option for them.
I feel like one of these should do it with, like, I saw somebody on Twitter saying when I was talking about this, basically saying like what if they made it like a demon, like not a human character, might be kind of more interesting.
Well, wasn't that sort of the concept in Blood and Honey, is that they're the actual characters, they're not just people in scary costumes? That's
what it's supposed to be, that it's not a human being under a mask. But this one, you see the mask off. You don't see the person's face, but you see the mask on the shelf.
Yeah.
So it's not a person. It's
a little confusing, but it looks funny.
Yep.
You know, it's so bad it's good. Could be.
There's also a trailer for a game called Mouse. We won't watch that one, but
I think it's called Infestation 88.
Oh yes, Infestation 88.
This looks pretty good from the visuals. You're you have like the Steamboat Willie gloves on and you're like shooting up all of these Steamboat Willie characters.
Kaylin Phillips says Blood and Honey was horrible. Yes, but it was fun. I had fun watching all of the gore happen in Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
And that's coming out this year too. Part 2.
Blood and Honey 2
Electric Boogaloo is coming out this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. But it's not just those characters. Also, you've got Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, the 1904 version of it, which would also include Tinkerbell. So we don't have to be stuck with the Disney Plus race-swapped Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
If creativity allows people to use these characters now. I think more power to the people and less power to Disney. It's a good thing.
Like that's what a lot of people were surprised that they didn't lobby harder, given that the last time that Steamboat Willie was supposed to go in the public domain was 2003, and they lobbied Congress to be able to extend that another 20 years. And a lot of people figured they would just do this again. I was on a stream. I was on, so if you guys don't, like, sometimes I go on the stream called the Salty Nerd Podcast, and we were talking about this going into public domain on Saturday, and one of the hosts from the Podcast Bros was talking about basically like copyright is their bread and butter, right? Like they very, very closely guard their intellectual property, and they make it a nightmare on anyone that wants to even try and get a foot in the door. Like people can't make art based on the characters they grew up loving. It's a very big discussion amongst them. So
well, Disney failed miserably at preparing for this to happen.
They were too busy fighting with Ron DeSantis.
They were too busy in the culture war fights and making shitty movies. They don't have any new crop of characters that can replace the iconic ones as these continually go into public domain in the next, I guess, century.
I can't wait for the Batman.
There's nothing to replace them.
I can't wait till Batman goes in the public domain. It's going to be hilarious.
What year is that again?
It's in the next 10 years, I think.
DC is just so
well, no, a lot of characters are going in the public domain in the next 10 years. So it's going to be very interesting.
It's so
to watch
over
all
for
this.
them.
It feels that way, right? Like in
and
a lot
I love
of ways,
to see it.
I see a lot of people arguing about your method of production is like a big discussion that was happening over the weekend with people like with Eric July and other people talking about like, look, the old business model, it's not working the same way anymore. Something I thought was really interesting was talking about like for instance, like when a comic book, it talks about how many it's sold, all that says is how many it's sold to a shop. But when an independent creator who crowdfunds or builds their own site has comics sold, that's actually sold to a person.
Actual customer.
It's not just somewhere sitting on a shelf, right? So I think as a lot of these properties go into public domain, you know, I feel like as a creative, it might be kind of scary to want to do that because there's so many minefields about what you can and can't use that a lot of people, because I remember Zach from Comics Matter got really excited a couple years ago when he found out about like public domain and how it worked, but it was kind of quelled after a while when he realized all of the hoops that have to be jumped through and the risks you run when you get on the radar of a company like Disney.
You can't take any inspiration from derivative works.
Anything else, right? Like the first thing I looked at was the eyes. I'm like, if there's anything else in those eyes, it's immediately not doable.
He may not have a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah. So they bury you in lawsuits, and that's the thing. You can't fight these companies. When they want to sue you, even if they're wrong, you can't win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's the problem with the legal system is it is in a lot of ways rigged to either the rich or to corporatists who have the money to just bury you. It's I mean, that's something that Mark Zuckerberg did for years with his competition, right? Just bury them in lawsuits and claim patent infringement and you're fine because they can't fight you.
Well, I guess we'll have to see how it goes for them and keep an eye on that. I do see there is a Peter Pan horror movie in the works. It's called Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
Yep.
So,
look,
I don't know why everyone's first thought when these characters go into public domain is like, let's make a horror slasher out of it.
Because it's the easiest way to not seem like you're trying to make something that's ripping off Disney.
Because it's not kid friendly.
It's not kid friendly, right? So the easiest way to be like, look, how can you even believe that I'm trying to claim that this is a Disney property when it's so different from everything that they make?
Gore, nudity, everything to the max.
I'm here for it, right? Like in a politically correct world, I'm here to watch a whole bunch of like lovable characters commit atrocious acts to other people. It works for me. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead. What would you like to see? Would you like to see cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cute first. How about that?
Let's do cute of the day first. We still got so many here, guys, from before the vacation and everything. So here's first. This one here is from Eddie on Twitter. Says, I'm sorry to report my beloved BMO succumbed to cancer on 12/18. If you remember BMO as a fan and would sit with me to watch the show, these were precious hours together. He was the best good boy ever, and I miss him hard. Well, now I'm just really sad.
R.I.P. BMO.
Rip. That's
very cute cat. He will be missed.
I'm just sad now.
Do you have another one?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, buddy, but we got to move on because that's just sad. Let's look at one more here. This one is from Terrence Rice. It says, Chonk Boy, the HNIC of the 5 cats, 6 years old. Here you can see him in his various elements: sleepy, hype beast, food simp, chill bro.
Food simp.
I'm gonna be. I have to be diplomatic here because I'm a man of consistency. It's a little derpy.
Yeah.
It's a little derpy. It's giving derp.
We're seeing the tongue.
Oh, he's a superhero. He's got a cape.
Grocery store bag cape. Nice.
I like it. I saw this one over the weekend. It says when you're kinky but you're poor, and it was a person who had on the bed frame, it had the 6-pack of pop, like the what are those things called? Like the plastic container. And so he said, like, who's a good little sea turtle? Remember those? You might be too young to remember those.
No,
ads.
I remember. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's look at cringe of the day. Mary found, we've actually got 2 because I found one as well. Okay. And they're both related to the same place.
All right.
So let's look at this first.
Theme park cringe is always
here we
a
go.
treat.
I'm muting it just in case the music gets us flagged. Ready? Okay.
That height difference, though.
Yeah, because she's not wearing heels. She's not wearing heels. So if you're listening to the show rather than watching, there's a man and a woman, and they're embracing outside of Disneyland or Disney World, and they're having a moment. And then all of a sudden, the woman has got down on one knee and proposed to him.
And this is the twist at the end. Then he proposes back with his own ring.
Maybe it was planned.
It wasn't planned. Look, like, I've seen one too many videos of women proposing to their boyfriends at this point. Like, it's
ladies.
just, call me a traditionalist or whatever, but it's just cringy.
It doesn't bode well for your future together.
No, it doesn't.
All right. And I've got one more here. Speaking of Disney.
All right.
You got this. It says, someone check up on Minnie Mouse.
Okay. What is she doing? Oh, no.
She's having a rough day.
In the high heels.
He's
resting his feet on the curb.
Having a rough day.
Dude, you're supposed to do that in the break room.
Yeah, man. Well, you can't smoke inside, so like, what's the guy got to do?
Damn. Is this at one of the parks? You would definitely get fired for this.
It doesn't look like a park. It might be.
I don't know. Minnie is having a rough one.
Minnie Mouse smoking.
Thank you for narrating it. It's Minnie Mouse smoking.
Having a rough day today. All right. In the chat, DCNC says Minnie needs Zins.
Yeah, she does.
All right. Mary, you're going to have to help me today because I had no clue who the hell Gypsy Rose Blanchard was.
Yeah, I know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is because I watched a Hulu series called The Act that is based on her true crime origin story. This is a real woman, and she just got released from prison only a few days ago. So she was a victim of Munchausen syndrome by proxy from her mother. Her mother tricked doctors, friends, family members for years that she was severely ill, had her in a wheelchair with a feeding tube, on many different medications, and lied to doctors about her age as well, and kept her in the dark about it for basically her entire childhood. And she found out the truth on her own. And it's a very sad story, really, in reality. What happened to her is incredibly traumatizing. And think about it, like, if she had been born 10 years later, not in the 90s, she probably would have been trans-trended by her parents.
Absolutely. I still think that we're going to end up seeing something like that one day that will end up being maybe a turning point for the culture where somebody does, like, something drastic is done because they realize that this is not who they are or what they want.
So it was all sham. It was all fake. She found out that she was a perfectly healthy young woman, and she was, in fact, an adult when she was told she was a minor. And she found a boyfriend on the internet behind her mother's back.
As one does.
And
it does happen.
Yeah. And she and her boyfriend plotted to murder her mother. And that is what they did. Her boyfriend is the one who actually did the act.
He's still in jail.
He is still in prison. She also went to prison as an accomplice. And she just got out a few days ago. And the public, understandably, has a lot of sympathy for this girl. And I know I do. Like, I can't think that if I were in that situation, I would see another way out.
I always thought, I was under the impression that if two people conspire to commit a felony, it doesn't matter who commits the crime. Like, if somebody dies in the commission of a felony, you both are charged with it. So, like, why did...
But, like, imagine being on the jury for this girl and thinking about her circumstances and, like, putting yourself in her shoes. It would be incredibly difficult to see another way out of her situation. Like, she was literally trapped. She had no freedom. She tried to escape before and was stopped. And all of the, medical doctors she was seeing were none the wiser to what was going on. So, yeah, it was an incredibly sad story. The show, The Act, is really well done. I really liked that show. Even though it was dramatized, it was an interesting enough story, even without dramatization.
Hollywood's like, we've got this crazy
it's captivating,
story.
Really. And, like, I'm not even a true crime enthusiast myself.
Did you see that a strip club offered her a job?
They did?
Yes.
Okay. Thank God she did not take it, right?
Yeah. I'm assuming she didn't.
So she is now out of prison. She is free. And it seems like she's, like, done a lot of healing and processing what happened to her.
She wouldn't even need a stage name. With a name like Gypsy, she can just be Gypsy.
Yeah, right? So here's her statement from what happened to her. She said, "I was desperate to get out of that situation. Nobody will ever hear me say I'm glad that she's dead or I'm proud of what I did. I regret it every single day. She didn't deserve that. She was a sick woman, and unfortunately, I wasn't educated enough to see that. She deserved to be where I am, sitting in prison, doing time for her criminal behavior." So she's not playing into any of the fanfare. Like, she knows that what she did was wrong. Yeah. And she regrets it. And I think that's, like, a very... She sounds like she is sound of mind, and that she actually has matured since then. And that maybe doing time in prison was good for her. But she also needed psychiatric help, and so did the boyfriend that actually did the crime for her.
So did the mom, but the mom didn't get it because,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I this is one of those stories where it's like, it's just sad all around. It's just unbelievably sad all around.
Well, the interesting part of all of this is that Gypsy, now that she is free, is getting, I'm sure, just a deluge of media, press, inquiries, people wanting to make movies about her, write books about her, interview her, do docu-series, the works, to make money off of this story, which is really interesting, but it's hers to tell. So she says that she does have plans to write a book, but it's not really about her childhood and about the murder and everything. It's about her life after that. Mm-hmm. So she made a TikTok that was thanking all of her supporters for all of their positivity, and she's becoming a local celebrity, basically. She has people stopping her for pictures and, following her on social media. It's really interesting to see this new, like, arc of her life.
I mean, this is going to be a thing in the future, right? As women get out, it's going to happen more with women. Back in the day, it was male serial killers that became famous.
Well, that's the thing.
Prison. Like, for women now, it's going to be the psychologically manipulative criminals that get fame for women, that when they're released,
right?
Who are we talking? Not Casey Anthony.
Elizabeth Holmes.
No, not who was was it Casey Anthony?
Casey Anthony got a docuseries on Peacock.
Okay, so like that's its own thing, and it feeds right in. Everyone knows that women love true crime.
Yeah.
Again, Hollywood, market to your women the way you should be. Like, it's going to work out for them because they're going to spend their time in jail, and then they'll never have to want for a regular job because they're going to get speaking opportunities. They're going to go on social media and instantly gain followers. It's just it's the prison route to clout. Prison clout.
The difference, I think there's a fundamental difference between like women with hybristophilia sending letters to like Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy in prison, you know, because they have this weird lust for criminals. There's a fundamental difference between that and Gypsy's story because like really she was more of a victim of circumstance than she was a cold-blooded criminal.
Are her fans mostly women or male simps?
I would guess women.
Okay, so I think the common denominator here is that whether it's male serial killers or evil females, whether you want to call her evil or not, that's not the point here, that women are the target demographic for this because they can fix them.
But it's also like women have this intense human interest in true crime stories.
Me and Mary talk a lot about the things that she finds interesting and things that I find interesting, and they don't overlap as much. I think that's why the show works in a lot of ways. But
nobody is a fan, or almost nobody is a fan of Casey Anthony.
No.
They might be a fan of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. They might be a fan of Elizabeth Holmes. I mean, she's at least a little more sympathetic, given that she didn't kill anyone. Let's look at this TikTok that Gypsy posted.
In the chat,
just so you guys can see.
Kevin says, no, Mary, she's not a victim. She needs to take some responsibility. It sounds like, I mean, she did her time, I guess. Whether
she did.
We can argue.
She did take responsibility.
We can argue about whether I don't think she should have gotten less time than the guy. I understand that the mitigating circumstances are what make that real.
I feel bad for both of them. But
he was also mentally ill, so why is there not mitigating circumstances for him?
He wasn't just mentally ill. I mean, he was mentally disabled. Like,
so why did he get
both of them?
There's that matriarchy.
I feel bad for both of them.
That's our gynocentric society rearing its ugly head. The guy gets the full sentence.
Yeah.
Let's watch this video of her here. Here we go. I'll put this on the screen. She looks like Catherine Hahn if Catherine Hahn wasn't like a Hollywood actress.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everyone, this is Gypsy. I'm finally free. I just want to send a quick video to thank everyone for the massive amount of support that I've been getting on social media. Everyone has been really, really nice and supportive, and I really appreciate that. It's nice to be home. I'm back home in Louisiana, enjoying a beautiful day outside, and I've got a lot of great things happening really soon. I've got my documentary series coming out, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I just put out an ebook that I'm super proud of. It's not a rehashing of everything that happened, it's more of my reflection of everything that I've learned and experienced in the last 8.5 years. So my ebook is called Release: Conversations on the Eve of Freedom, which you can pre-order now. And again, just thank you guys for all the support, and keep watching. Okay, bye.
She just seems like a really sweet, well-meaning person, and I appreciate that she did take accountability for what she did wrong in this story, and she did own that she deserved to pay her debt to society.
I know that she served 7 years. Was it longer and she got out on parole?
I'm not sure. I don't know all the details of it.
Okay.
But it's just really funny that as soon as she got out, her first plans for freedom were to go to a Kansas City Chiefs game in Missouri in the hopes of meeting Taylor Swift.
That's a no-win situation for Taylor Swift.
She said that Taylor Swift's song Eyes Open really helped her process the trauma that she went through in her childhood.
I love the idea that anything Taylor Swift has to say resonates at all with somebody whose life experience
really speaks to the universal appeal of her music.
Well, of arts,
and of art in general. So yeah, she didn't get her hope of meeting Taylor Swift, unfortunately, because her parole officer ordered her to leave the state of Missouri before the Chiefs game. It's because, they say, of a security concern about Gypsy due to her local celebrity. It says the reasoning is a bit unclear, but what we do know is Gypsy was told local law enforcement officials spoke to the state corrections unit and notified them they wanted her gone ASAP. We're told this might be because of security risks her continued presence might present to the Kansas City area, where she's been hanging out for the past 24 hours or so. She's become a local celebrity during her brief time in town, taking photos with fans, stopping and chatting with paparazzi that have been hounding her. And during the time that she's been out behind bars, Gypsy has most certainly drawn a hell of a lot of attention.
I'm still hung up on the fact that the mentally disabled dude got more time.
The justice system fails a lot of people.
Yeah, it's
true, but they both deserved to do prison time and get psychiatric help. I think this is why we need to bring back insane asylums. Reagan was wrong on that one. Some people belong there.
That and no-fault divorce.
Lots of mistakes.
I do want to show. Okay, so here's the thing about her being offered the job at the strip club.
This is so weird. No, they used a picture of her from when she was like 13.
Dreamgirls offered her a job. Let's just and then but she changes it to Gypsy EE rather than Y. $20 super chat here from DC and C says, Mary, were you secretly writing to Gypsy in prison?
No, I never wrote to Gypsy. Maybe I should have. I don't know if she replied to anybody.
That's just all of those. I mean, I'll never understand these stories, but that's just because
you're not into true crime.
I've never been into true crime, but also I would have to watch the docuseries to really understand, because they're saying the mom's a monster, and I don't know enough about the mom to really. What she did was obviously monstrous, but I need more than just the overhead view of what it is that she did.
Yeah. The docuseries hasn't come out yet, I think, but the TV show, the dramatized fictional telling of it, was really well done in my opinion. Joey King played her.
Joey King's that's really good casting.
Right.
I want that looks like an Adidas trench coat.
Really?
Can we get a guy's version of that? I'm down. Let me get the Adidas trench coat.
I do feel bad for her though, because now she has to.
Where's the dad in all this?
Her father?
Yes.
I believe that he was kind of shut out of her life by her mom.
This is what happens when you've got no strong male role models in the home.
It sucks, yeah. I don't remember the details, and I didn't look into it beyond watching the show, but that's at least how they made it seem in the show, is that her mother, Dee Dee, didn't allow her to make contact with her dad, and every time that they did try to talk, he was under the impression that she was severely ill, and he never found out the truth until, the murder happened.
Yeah, I've never heard of this person before, but it proves to you the power of the algorithm, because I'd never heard of this person.
Yeah.
And it just was completely new to me. So, all right, let's go to Super Chats. We got a bunch of them piling up there.
Andrew Jacobs said, out for 2024, whatever.
Think that's true, Mary? Think the Whatever podcast is on its way out?
It might be.
No. If there's anything that's not going to leave, it's anything that expands the gripes between men and women.
I don't know, the algorithm might be fickle enough that we're not going to see them as often.
Know what he'll have to do? He'll have to go how they had CSI and then CSI New York and CSI Miami. He needs to just move it to other countries.
Yeah.
Expand, and have offshoots in other countries.
True.
Where you go, it's whatever, Spain, whatever, France.
Well, what would whatever be in a place like New York or something?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Shane H. Wilder said, what is this show, Pop Culture Crisis? I seem to remember it from before times of the distant 2023. LOL, welcome back, Brett and Mary.
I was it was the first time I've been off ever where I was actually kind of normally after 2 days I'm starting to okay, I need to get back to work. But the weather was really, really nice. Mm-hmm. And I got to skate Christmas Day and Christmas Eve the whole day. And it was in the 40s or it was in the 50s, both of those days. And so like when we finally got back today, first of all, I almost overslept and I'm just like, am I going to remember how to do my job? And then YouTube was being weird trying to set up the live stream. And like, I didn't hit the wrong button.
And what would PCC be without last minute technical problems?
Of course not. It would be nothing.
DCNC said, so Star Wars Christmas special, Mares? Yeah, just rewind for that mini review if you want. Andrew Jacobs said Vanilla Ice over Green Day.
Did you watch that? Vanilla Ice performed for either New Year's or Christmas for Trump at Trump Tower or at Mar-a-Lago.
I didn't see this. Is he some kind of like massive Vanilla Ice fan?
I don't know if he's a massive Vanilla Ice fan, but it's funny that he did.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
DCNC said, how about live drawing Mickey and auctioning it? Would anyone want to buy that?
I don't know how to draw, so I wouldn't be able to do that. Let's hold off on the rest and we will come back after the fact. Let's move on, shall we? So, guys, there was again, as I was saying earlier, one of my problems with going off air for a period of time is that the stories start to pile up. And one of the stories that went viral over the holidays was this story of a based Delta employee who would not allow himself to be bullied by someone who was claiming that he was being they were being misgendered, right?
Yes.
And his name is Tommy Dorfman.
Yeah. It turns out that this trans actor named Tommy Dorfman decided to leverage his social media clout against a Delta airline employee who was allegedly transphobic. And it really backfired on him terribly, because people are sick of having weapons drawn on them like smartphones. I thought weapons weren't allowed in airports, but when you draw your phone and start recording someone, we all know that the goal of doing that is getting them doxxed, getting them fired from their job, and having news articles written about them by activists. So it didn't work out the way he thought. You know, it wasn't a good gamble.
The worst part of this is that my biggest complaint within this sphere, within the people in the culture war, is, are you operating in good faith? Dude, it was the holidays.
This was 3 days before Christmas.
Airports are a freaking zoo during the holidays. This dude is just trying to do his job and get home to his family, and you're over here, an entitled Hollywood brat, making it about you. There is such a thing as turning the other cheek. They don't understand that. They do not understand that sometimes when somebody does something to you, it's not out of malice. It all depends on what you consider to be an attack. Anyways, the dude wasn't trying to harm you. The dude was just trying to get you to be on your way.
Yeah, and we don't know the context or the backstory of like why they're arguing in the first place. But let's look at the video. It's about 30 seconds long. I think the Delta employee won in the court of public opinion, and he came out looking very professional and level-headed.
Here we go.
Both of you have. And what about when a Delta employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Gotcha.
Both of you have.
Sorry. Wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also.
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have full authority to escort you out the building right this moment if you want to play that game with me.
Okay.
Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
Delta employee, big W, trans actor, Tommy Dorfman, L. And also, I feel like it's an extra insult to the public's intelligence when these actors come out as trans but don't even go to the effort of changing their name to like a feminized version. It's like, yes, Tommy, you're a she, her. You're valid.
He's like, I don't have
the same thing that Dylan Mulvaney did. Yeah, and apparently
Dylan is at least in some cases a unisex name. Tommy is not.
Right. And Ollie London started posting about this person. I wasn't aware that Tommy Dorfman is actually a friend of Dylan Mulvaney. They know each other. All of these people do. I guess he's best described as a Dylan Mulvaney wannabe because he's not nearly as relevant. But Ollie London said that Tommy Dorfman has made a lucrative career since coming out as trans, has massive fashion brand endorsements, including Chanel, Fenty Beauty, Moncler, Coach, Valentino, and Tom Brown. None of the brands appeared to have any brand partnership with the actor until he became trans. He even got invited to the Met Gala in 2022 for the first time. It pays off to be oppressed in this culture, obviously. I mean, that doesn't even need to be said at this point.
That's why people come out and they say, oh, I'm a demisexual. They don't know what that means, but it allows you to enter the umbrella that gives you that sort of status that allows you to get special treatment.
So before,
it also gives you weapons. It also gives you a weapon.
Before coming out as trans, Tommy Dorfman was most known for playing a male character in the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why. The character Ryan Shaver.
Why all this old news today? First of all, we're catching up. Second of all, I didn't know that this was an actor. This was somebody in Hollywood that went on this exchange. This exchange went viral without anyone knowing that this was an actor at first.
Right, yeah. So Ollie said the actor, born male, only came out as trans in 2021 as his acting roles had dried up. And since then, his career has skyrocketed with red carpet appearances at the Met Gala, CFDA Awards, front row at Chanel fashion shows, dozens of magazine cover appearances, including In Style, and new acting roles, and he's even set to direct his own film. He also has racked up a huge list of Instagram brand deals from Swarovski and Chanel and others. So, yeah, being a terror to society is lucrative. It pays off. But I think that this person is just such an egomaniac that they didn't even realize they were going to turn out as the villain in this story.
No, they don't realize that they're the villain ever.
Yeah.
Like if you're the one bullying someone, if you're like these are the people that talk about the huddled masses and how we need to help the common man.
Right.
This guy that you're bullying is the common man. He's an airport employee. This dude is just trying to get you from point A to point B, you stuck-up buffoon.
I also scrolled through Tommy Dorfman's Instagram, and I'm going to be forever scarred after doing that. But he posted a selfie with a t-shirt that read, "God wrote me as a complex female main character that people do not understand." And here's a comment that said, "Let's be real. God wrote you as a narcissistic, attention-seeking, self-obsessed homosexual man, and you will be always and forever." So that's how Tommy Dorfman is going to go down in the history books.
Somebody did
this
point out
person
that,
wants to be relevant like a Hunter Schafer would be, right? But
or Dylan Mulvaney.
If you realize that you can't do that without weaponizing your identity, this is what happens.
Yeah. And well, I mean, it's you level, like you increase your spot in the playing field when you give yourself that advantage. And to think that like people in Hollywood wouldn't take advantage of that when everyone in Hollywood is self-interested, that I think that's why virtue signaling from Hollywood in particularly bothers me more than typical virtue signaling bothers me. Virtue signaling from people who are very clearly of the most self-interested people on the planet bothers me even more.
Right. Like, if this video had been from just a no-name, no-platform trans person who was looking to get offended that day, I would still find it incredibly annoying. But the fact that it is a Hollywood actor who is overpaid simply for being trans makes it all the much more annoying. And I think that this person needed to be humbled, and that is what happened.
And I guess that could be used. His response is exactly how you should respond if you're bullied in the workplace by somebody who's trying to get you to lose your job simply for their own clout and because they were pushed into lockers when they were children. Like that's what all of it. Like a lot of it. When I see this stuff, it's the people who were bullied in school who like look. Some people. I actually, we had this discussion on the show one time where I was like, I never saw that stuff when I was a kid. I have no recollection of seeing like the type of bullying that you see in movies and television. But then a lot of people in the comments were like, no, that was absolutely real. I saw it at my school. I didn't experience that. But you know the type of person who never let it go. Okay, so the computer nerds got their retribution when tech became a thing, and now they're all billionaires, and they invested before the .com bust, or they invented an app, and they made something. Look at what Jeff Bezos looks like now compared to what Jeff Bezos looked like when Amazon started, right? They got their revenge. This is the more disturbing type of revenge.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds was big tech.
Yes.
Oligarchs.
This
and
is
then Revenge of the Art Nerds is situations like this where you're weaponizing your identity and your social media platform to ruin someone's life because they said, sir, you're being erratic and condescending right now.
And it's way more vicious because at least when the tech overlords got their revenge, they created something. There is nothing being created that is of value to society right now.
Arguably, like, Facebook wasn't really adding value to society now that we've seen its consequences, but I get your point.
Everybody's Meemaw would disagree because they get to keep in contact with their grandkids and their children, right? So they've at least added something. You know my thoughts on tech anyways. I still think that the internet was the greatest weapon ever created. But the point is like it's improved a lot of people's lives.
We've got a $20 one from Pat the Plumber. Delta is investigating the situation. Eye roll emoji.
And I'm gonna say I don't know if it's I think the fact that he's not a white straight dude will help him.
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Yeah. The fact that the Delta employee is not white is actually going to work in his favor.
And that is not the Delta employee's fault. This dude did nothing wrong. But
the circumstance remains that in the oppression totem pole, we're not really sure if the white trans actor falls lower than the black male who works for Delta.
I wonder also if it would actually it might actually lead to more repercussions if it wasn't an actor.
Maybe. But I mean, the fact that this got attention in the first place is because of his social media platform that he wanted to weaponize.
Dude, it does not matter. This clip could have gone viral. Like I said,
on TikTok,
I didn't even know this was an actor. Like this could have gone. This would have gone viral. There is a genre of TikTok and social media that is more famous than any actor now, and that's public freakouts and incidences like this. So I don't think that even matters.
Did you see that other video from the airport that went viral over the holiday where it was like this gay couple that were yelling at the employees because they couldn't bring their dogs on the plane or something?
Yeah, I saw that.
They were calling them their dogs. They were calling them our girls, like it's your child or something.
Don't use dog, mom or dad, please.
Then they started fighting with each other. I don't know. The airport meltdown videos just keep getting spicier.
I did forget there is Tommy Lahren, so there is a female Tommy
with an I though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Different spelled differently.
There's Tom Holland.
I see this type of stuff, and I actually think that the guy being an actor works to his disadvantage, because I think if it was what they consider just a lowly trans person who's not of celebrity status, it would have helped them gain more traction with it. But other people are gonna be like, no, it's just a spoiled celebrity who happens to be trans.
Right. Like, if we didn't live in such a schizophrenic culture, this would just look like, extremely privileged white male from Hollywood is victimizing a working class person.
It's funny because, look, Hollywood is as much as they pretend like they're not, and they have the gall to pretend like they're not, they're self-aware enough to create movies and televisions in the past that would show actors as the emotionally stunted babies that freak out on people. So they understand the culture. They're not oblivious to how they are. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know where
the exaggerated bullying themes that are in a lot of Hollywood stories, I do think that that's just the way that they're processing the fact that they were nerds. And I never, like you, I never saw any of that in real life. But that's like the first iteration of victimhood mentality that came from Hollywood. I mean, who's the annoying author who wrote it?
Stephen King.
The bullies in his stories, the child bullies, are like psychopathic villains. And it's not true to life, but he portrays it that way because he still hasn't moved past all of that from his childhood.
I mean, there's a reason why they do that, not for dramatic effect, and because writing a normal bully isn't always necessarily super interesting.
Yeah.
You'd have to be a better writer to do that. which is what I always find funny. I was actually talking about this recently with somebody about how like look, the reason why they tell such over-the-top stories is because it takes good writers to be able to eloquently tell stories of everyday life. To most people, that's just not very interesting. Right? You can do that if it's a character study or something like that, but there still has to be a certain amount of drama. But over-the-top drama, first of all, this is something that they would never touch. Hollywood will never satirize this, ever. It's never going to happen. They won't be willing to.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like an airport version of Lady Ballers then from Daily Wire.
What would it be called? The Passenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just that I couldn't believe that was an actor, but at the same time, I can absolutely believe that it's an actor. But do we watch the Dylan Mulvaney clip?
Oh, thank you. In case you're wondering, Tommy Dorfman is in fact friends with Dylan Mulvaney. Birds of a feather stick together.
Let's check it out here. Here we go.
On this specific bag, they were like, that's a bag that you put your Subway shoes in or something.
Oh my god.
And like it got eaten alive on TikTok, and I had just gotten it for my birthday. An episode comes out where they shit on this specific bag, and I was so embarrassed. And then I was like, you know what? The people shitting on it were like these like billionaires, basically.
Yeah, they were like,
And
no billionaire would wear this bag.
A year ago, I couldn't afford my rent, let alone a bag like this.
No!
And this was like my big fun purchase.
Oh.
And so I was like, I love
Dylan,
it.
you better wear that bag.
On this specific
Girl, you
bag,
better
they
wear
were
that bag. Look, when I watch this, I just think, yeah, this is really what they think of women. This is how lowly they regard women.
Well,
that they think we sit around talking about our purses for hours on end.
Any women in the chat can confirm yes or no? I'm gonna need an answer. It is also fair to say that just like how Stephen King portrays his bullies, what they're portraying is a fictionalized, hyper unrealistic movie version.
They all think that they're Elle Woods.
Yes,
it's insane.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I guess in a lot of ways, that's the type of world we live in now, where everything. Think about how much of your life now is actually revolves around actually interacting with real people in the real world. But when all you're seeing is a crazy algorithm that's fed to you, and all you get to see is people talking about shifting into different realities, you forget that what you're looking at is the minority of the population, and the rest of us are just trying to go to work and do our jobs. And that not everyone like that. Not to mention, it is inherent to being on social media that you play up what you're doing. Most of the time, it's a bit of a character, because you cannot usually sell yourself on being just an everyday average dude. You either have some type of specialty area that you talk about, or you put on a more extravagant version of yourself. As Vince McMahon would always say, the best characters in pro wrestling are just a version of yourself turned up to 11.
This actor realized that he couldn't get the level of success he wanted without playing the character of an exaggerated, hyper feminine Elle Woods, essentially, at all times. He's method acting as a woman because he's too mediocre to make it on his own.
My gender is not your
talent.
costume.
Yeah.
Where's that one? I don't hear that one anymore.
New PCC merch.
My gender is not your costume.
Okay, let's
All right,
read
let's
some
do
super chats. Hiroshima Otaru said, I resolved to have no resolutions. Oh, wait.
There you go.
Self-defeating. OrganizedBusinessServices.com said the Epstein list came out. Your thoughts?
Dude,
I did not see
told
that.
you from day one, I said it doesn't matter, because if they want it released, it means that it's not trustworthy. It's like when the government said, hey, aliens, they're real. Sorry, I was willing to believe that they were real until you told me they were real. Bye.
Shane H. Wilder said, by the way, Mary, after you blew up my Twix with the video clip, I now fully understand why you were cautious on social media. Some of those comments, yeesh. Yeah, I've just taken to not reading comments at all. So, yeah, avert your eyes, Shane H. Wilder. And thank you for that edit. That made me laugh.
Like, reading the comments, I feel like the human brain was not designed to be constantly bombarded with unfiltered thoughts of who you are. And what I was pointing out was think about these interactions. Now, take some crazy thing a person says to you on social media, transplant yourself into the real world, and imagine having that discussion face to face with someone. How often in your actual life does that happen in the real world?
It doesn't happen because people don't have the stones to back up what they're saying.
It's partially that, but it's also you portray a character. There's nothing I hate more than Twitter speak. People who talk a specific way, like who there's a certain cadence and way that they talk on Twitter. That's just, it's snarky. It's not designed like even
Stan language.
Yeah. Okay. So we never in history before have you ever been like, imagine back in the day, you just mailed something into the local paper, and then it got all the responses got mailed back to you of all the people telling you what a freaking idiot you are. We are in the first time in human history where we're actually experimenting on the human psyche to understand what it's like to constantly be fed negative attention, like devoid of context. It's crazy.
Yeah, and also the content of that tweet was not meant to, make people angry or whatever, but it was just like me and an Alex Jones clip.
And the thing is though, but here's the thing, if you're going to put that stuff out there, you have to be willing to understand that people are going to have an opinion. Like I was talking with Lydia and Andy last night about.
Well, I think he's talking about like weird simps.
Okay.
Also,
like because we were talking is like a lot of the people who dish can't take it, right? Like, and that's a problem. You have to, at least if you're willing to read it, you have to understand that people are going to have their opinions of your thoughts. If not, save them and don't share them.
Yeah.
Let's do one more.
Andrew Jacobs said pie over cake. It depends on the pie or the cake though, right?
Cake.
Yeah,
Cake
I would say
for me.
cake.
Camelot's in the chat. What's up?
Shane H. Wilder said, didn't expect Mary to like Die Hard, but at least she recognizes that it is a Christmas movie based.
Yes.
No one was expecting me to like Die Hard, and they were not expecting me to like the Star Wars Holiday Special either. You wanted me to suffer.
What was the movie? Like I said, you wouldn't like it, and you thought I was saying it was because it was intellectual. What was the movie we were talking about? Because that wasn't the point of what I was saying.
Gosh, I don't know now.
But the point is like I know Mary enough to know that like if I like, okay, for instance, guys, I want to go see The Beekeeper with Jason Statham. I know Mary enough to I hope I know Mary enough to think like this, maybe she ends up liking it, but it's not predisposed to being something that you would be super interested in to begin with. For instance, we're also going to go see the Mean Girls musical, which first of all, you can't replicate Mean Girls in anything musical. I'm going to hate on principle for the most part. So you learn to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to learn to know what your co-host thinks on certain things. Like we go see certain movies and I'm like, yeah, but you love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That one I didn't expect.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect either.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So guys, again, over the holidays, another story went very, very viral. It's the crazy story of the lady holding a pie with a cross behind her and some ankles showing. It was CalendarGate, and everyone was talking about it for like 5 days.
Yeah, like before we even state our opinions on CalendarGate, I just want to say you shouldn't have been tweeting and arguing with people on the internet on Christmas Day. That is just not advisable, regardless of where you stand on the issue. If you think that the calendar is demonic, or if you think it's completely harmless, you shouldn't have been arguing with people about it on Twitter on Christmas when you were supposed to be spending time with your family. That is my official stance. So here's the context. You guys might already be familiar, but if you're not, in case you missed it, this brand called Conservative Dads, started by Seth Weathers. It's also the brand that put out Ultra Right beer in response to the Bud Light controversy. They decided to create it's not a bikini calendar, it's just a calendar of women. Okay?
Women of America.
Yes, it's called Conservative Dads Real Women of America 2024 calendar. And Riley Gaines is on the cover. So, you know that this is really also a response to, trans identifying males invading women's spaces, and they're using a percent of the proceeds to donate to the Riley Gaines Center to protect women's sports from extreme leftist ideology seeking to destroy real women. And they had 12 conservative influencers on the calendar, and they included Kim Klasick, Ashley St. Clair, Sarah Gonzalez, our own coworker, actually, Josie the Redheaded Libertarian, Catalina Loff, Bethany Bartlett, Peyton Drew. I hadn't heard of all of these women. The point is, it's not quite a bikini calendar. They're just scantily clad in some, and in others, they're just wearing a normal outfit. But it's catered to conservative men, right? But it's not racy. It's not as racy as it sounds.
No.
Like, I wouldn't call this demonic. I wouldn't call it pornographic necessarily. There's some of the photos are scantily clad. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. And I wouldn't call that conservative, but this turned into a gigantic, monumental hullabaloo. It turned into a debate about political philosophy. What does it mean to be a conservative? What does it mean to be a woman? It's like, what is a woman, but what is a conservative? And
this is perhaps the definition of terminally online.
Look, besides the issue of, is this conservative? Let's ask ourselves, is this cringy? And like, let's be honest, it's a little bit cringy. The execution of this idea, it didn't exactly hit the mark. Would you agree?
Look, here's the issue. Like, when I blame a lot of this on the coalition building that the right did under Trump, meaning that what was once a 90s Democrat or traditional old school liberal is now thrown under the banner of conservatism. Certainly, I'm here on a show that's part of a network that gets labeled as right wing, and anybody who watches this show knows that I am not myself a right wing person, right? So what happens is it becomes a purity test. It's their own version of a purity test. And my biggest issue is that it's not just about not hitting the mark, it's a distraction. It's a huge distraction, and it's a nothing burger that's turned into a something burger, when in reality, you're not going to be able to enter this space and outdo what the left does. And they're going to be like, they mentioned it was the night, like if your dad had a calendar, right? He had a Bud Light calendar, a Budweiser calendar on his beer fridge back in the 90s. Well, yes, America might have been a slightly more conservative place at that time, but the ad agencies and the people creating these things were not that.
Sure.
These industries have not, the industries have gone farther left, but they were never right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I look at stuff like this and I'm like, first of all, props to the calendar maker, because this is the best thing that could have happened to them.
Yeah.
Like, holy free publicity. Every day he's just like, I love the idea that, what was it, Seth, like, he's
Seth
just
Leathers.
making sock accounts, just reigniting the story to keep it going, just cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. And
yeah.
I watch this stuff and it's much to do about nothing. And I wonder why people have the time to argue about something like this. It ends up being a semantic argument about, what does it mean to be a conservative? Are you a social conservative? Are you a fiscal conservative? Are you a blah, 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 blah?
And you all just look like a bunch of nerds who need to put your phone away.
And it's,
at the end of the
just,
day.
look,
well, the interesting part of this is that Josie, our coworker, became the scapegoat for the entire calendar, in a sense. And her picture from this calendar is like one of the most safe for work.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, but
that you could find.
Holy crap. Riley Gaines, the swimmer in a bikini, that's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
Do you want to show us the photo of Josie for context? Here she is. She's in her kitchen. She's wearing an ultra right beer branded apron and high heels.
I will say, little too much dead space here on the right. I think there should have been something done with that. My personal opinion. That's my critique. Is like maybe like
we have some artistic critiques.
I would like to see, like, maybe if they do this next time, you get a set photographer who goes and does this, and you have and you actually commit to an art style for the whole thing, and maybe it could just be a little bit better prepared. Maybe it's not necessarily about the content, but that it needs to be like, if you're going to go into the left space and attempt to outdo them, you better be willing to build the infrastructure, because they've got decades upon decades of experience doing this type of stuff, where even what, and again, not me, what you, like a lot of people would call degeneracy, is at least artistic degeneracy that has some type of fluid style and actual commitment to the bit. Like, you're gonna have to outdo them in the technical aspects, otherwise it's just not gonna work. But it doesn't matter, because they made a crap ton of money off of the drama.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Josie actually got a lot of followers off of this controversy happening, so good for her. And it's kind of blown over by now.
She's not a conservative. Again,
right? She's
libertarian.
Literally, in the name is the redheaded libertarian.
I'm sorry. Like,
she never claimed to be a conservative.
I know that this is not the big brain take, but I just sigh. I sigh when I see them arguing about this stuff, because this is the purity spiral of the right. When it's and that's because for a lot of them, I saw a bunch of arguments, and to my own critique, I got stuck reading a bunch of them, which I shouldn't have been doing, of people arguing about what it meant to be religious conservative versus what it meant to be a fiscal conservative versus what it meant to be a social conservative, and all this stuff, right? And that's their purity spiral. The left might purity spiral about your ability to remember Tommy Dorfman's pronouns, but everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their thing that they're going to hold you to account on, and it's the weirdest form of gatekeeping, and it's why even when the left fights with each other, they still coalition build better, because they just gobble everyone up into their sphere, into generic leftism. And meanwhile, people on the right, whether it's this, whether it's any of this, how many stories did we see in 2023 of people just fighting with each other on the line over stuff that blows over in 3 months and nobody remembers?
Or faster, usually. It blows over in like 2 days.
Somebody mentioned like Steven Crowder the other day, like the video of Steven Crowder. I'm like, oh yeah,
that happened.
Forgot about that. Like, this is why, like, whenever these topics come up, I don't have anything to say, because it's a distraction. They're going to continue to build. Everyone else here is going to continue to fight. No, I'm the principled conservative. No, I am, because I don't like to see ankles.
Yeah, for anyone who is listening rather than watching and you didn't see the photo of Josie, she is fully clothed. This is far from a risque or pornographic photo. She is definitely covered, so I don't know if that image itself is the one that we should be shocked and scandalized by, if anything. And also, Ashley St. Clair's photos in the calendar were supposed to be a satire, like a parody of Dylan Mulvaney's Audrey Hepburn look, promoting Bud Light. Here's this video of Ashley St. Clair promoting the ultra-right beer and the calendar.
Here we go.
Real women.
I don't know if the music's copyrighted.
I don't think it is.
Real women drink conservative dad's ultra-right beer.
So,
again, I'm gonna need Ashley to get somebody to get some insert shots of the beer so I can see the can more clearly. If you're gonna beat the left, you're gonna need to work on the basics. Okay?
Yeah. It's a parody of itself, right? That's what it's aiming to be.
Okay, so what they need to do now, first of all, I also made I think I made the joke on Salty Room, like they should just go all in and find all of like the women who like the right and just do a porn calendar. It would be hilarious. But no, okay. But the thing that they should do now, just do a burqa version. Now just have one with them completely covered. Actually do one where they're hiding behind stuff and all you can see is like the top of their eye line. Right? Like
their eyes are too seductive.
Okay, so what you can do is like you could put a huge like those room dividers or those dividers you stand behind to get changed in, right? And it's but it's got the Constitution printed on it. And Josie's eyes are just like looking out the side. All you can see is just the top half of her head.
They need your artistic direction.
At least just do a parody that's actually funny. You have to put a little bit more thought, I think, into the art direction of something like this. I do think it's great to contribute to causes that you believe in, but I just think it was funny. It made me roll my eyes.
I just think it's not conservative to market a calendar of women who may or may not be scantily clad to the conservative dad brand, aka married men. But more importantly, the execution didn't hit the target, and it was kind of cringy, and we would like to avoid cringing in the future. And then this kind of it folded over into a different gate. Everything is a gate now. The next one was Cake Gate. So for context, this is a video that was posted in October but resurfaced from conservative influencer Isabella Maria DeLuca. You might have heard of her. She posted a video of herself in her kitchen making a cake, and the caption is, "Brown butter caramel cake is the messiest thing I've made thus far." And in the video, if you would like to show us, Brett, she is wearing a high neck t-shirt that is all covering her collarbones even. But it is rather tight fitting, so you can see that she has breasts. Oh, the humanity. And this turned into its own gate.
I'm sorry, guys, but if the right is canceling big titties, then I'm out. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I think people's issue with it was that they believed she was drawing more attention to her figure than the food that she was making in the video.
It's not her figure. Sorry, I've been getting made fun of endlessly for the last week for how I say that word. Figure. Yes. It's not her figure's fault. Sorry.
Well, yes, she's objectively not wearing something that is showing skin. I guess it's just the framing of the video, the intention of the video that people assumed was nefarious and demonic.
I don't want to live in a world where big titty blondes are canceled. I don't.
I just... Maybe you can argue that her intention in posting the video was vain. Of course you can. It's social media. What else do young women do? I mean, I know I do. I post images of myself and they get attention. And there's nothing wrong with seeking attention. But it just makes you look like a schizophrenic hobo screaming on the street to be infighting about something this trivial, right? It just makes everyone look like a fool.
This is why nothing changes, because again, not my thing, but like if you're really big into voting and changing the culture, and you're not focusing on your local elections and if you can tell me every single tweet that came out about this story, but not the members of your local school board, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, bring back. Here's a New Year's resolution. Yeah, stop infighting on Twitter and start caring about your local elections.
I get why this stuff matters, because it's easy to, it's fun to talk. Look, I'm still having fun talking about it, but it's like for the people that are really in this, that they want to, you want to change the people that are elected and you really care about the culture, you need to do more than just this stuff. If that's your goal, again, not my goal in life. I'm fine just watching it all burn down apparently. But should we watch the video? Does that matter, or is it just having
There's a song on it.
Oh, okay, there's a song on it.
But look, it's self-explanatory. She is
here. It is
making a cake, and most of what you see is her. That's the point of the video, right? We're not really looking at the food. We're looking at her.
Maybe
she's the focal point of the video.
Okay, so maybe like it would be good if like the thing you're making isn't like half out of the shot.
Right.
Again, I'm blaming all of this on lack of. It's a technical problem. It's not an ideological problem. It's a technical problem. She needs second unit photography to really get some glamour shot close-ups of like the egg cracking and all of this stuff. There's a reason why the women who post Instagram thirst traps at the gym always have a shot of them walking up to the equipment.
I just think like, when women dress in skimpy outfits or revealing outfits and you're in person, nobody freaks out. But once it's a social media post that assigns an intention to the what they're doing, that's when people like chimp out and freak out and can't handle it.
I'm gonna need someone to run on the platform of we will not cancel big titty blondes. That's what I want.
And you know what? I got dragged into this whole gate thing.
Yes, you did. You
as
did
well.
because of Pearl.
You know, I posted my outfit on New Year's Eve. That was this cute pink dress, and it wasn't revealing either. And then it started getting replies from people who were like, look, she can post her outfit without being immodest. Take notes, ladies, or whatever. Like, that was essentially the vibe that they were posting in. And I was like, look, I just was posting a picture of my outfit. I don't want to be involved in all of your bullshit. But it's not even worth replying anyway, because then that means that you're taking a side.
Yeah.
And it's this whole like insular culture war in and of itself that I didn't want to get involved in.
But then Pearl got involved.
Pearl did, yeah. If you guys aren't aware, Pearly Things or Pearl Davis, she has this thing she does on Twitter where she quote tweets an outfit pic from a woman's account, and she does hashtag I deem this outfit either inappropriate or appropriate for a wife and mother, which I think is kind of irrelevant because most of the women that she is quote tweeting are not wives, nor are they mothers, me included. I'm not a wife or a mother, so I don't know why it would really matter whether my outfit was appropriate for one. Mm-hmm. It would be like quote tweeting it and being like, I deem this outfit inappropriate for a mechanic. It's like, no, yeah, I'm not a mechanic, so it's really not relevant, is it? But she deemed my outfit appropriate for a wife and mother. So that was seen as like me sending some kind of secret message through my photos and what I was wearing, that I'm trying to like clap back at the attention seekers.
You were supposed to wear jeans, a t-shirt, and you were supposed to be Billie Eilish on New Year's.
Look, I was just as unabashedly seeking attention as Isabella was. I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah.
You know, you just need to put boundaries on it. And I think people are taking this a lot more seriously than they should.
I really do think it's because if this was 20 years ago, none of these people would be considered right-leaning, or it wouldn't have been so tribal that the label of your political ideology would come into it.
Do you think that I have a look that denotes a certain political ideology? Like, if you just saw me on the street, would you think like she's a liberal, conservative, or whatever?
Hot topic. I don't know. Like
that's a political ideology I could get behind.
Like I'm
hot topic.
I'm part of the hot topic party. She says, right? Like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think I would say more that like I think a lot of people would be probably surprised to find out that you're as devout of a religious person as you are.
Probably.
Like because that's where a lot of this came from, right? People were calling these outfits demonic because they all bring it back to their religion. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but you're going to have a hard time with the non-religious folks here, like me, who you may be right sometimes. Yes, when we're talking about certain issues, if you're talking about the transing of children and you're talking about a lot of these other things, but you got to know where the line is. But the problem is that line is subjective and it's so different to so many people. And it does come across with the same level of pompous moral superiority that somebody who gets the pronouns right every time has. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's so unsightly to see you dressed like that. And the rest of the world's like, bro, I'm sorry, but it's 2024 now, and we don't live in the dark ages. Things have changed. There is a lot.
As much as I wish we lived in the dark ages, that's never going to come back.
I just, I laugh at all this stuff because it's always time wishes. I remember getting like I don't even remember what the video was or what was being talked about, but this is back in the day. And I left a comment on some video about politics, and they were basically saying like, whatever is true, it doesn't matter because the left always wins. And what they're saying is like, while you're arguing, yeah, you get to own the libs every once in a while, but they push policies, right? You're out here worrying about calendars. They're getting new laws put in place at your local school district. They actually give it 110%, and that's why and that's why everybody else on the right always loses, right? You bring it to Twitter, they bring it to the school board.
You tired of losing yet? conservatives. Let's go to super chats. We've said enough. Shane H. Wilder said Batman public domain 2034
coming up.
It'll be here before we know it.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I watched, or Razorfist posted a great tweet the other day. It was 4 examples of Batman just killing people with guns in the old comics, and it's really, really funny.
That's the version of Batman that I want to see. Yep. Sorenko Productions said, hello, everyone. Welcome back, Brett and Mary. About to board a flight, so I must sign off now, but I'm leaving LA. So that's a good thing. Let's go.
That is always a good thing.
Hope you're safe on your flight by now, sir.
And let's do 2 more.
Christopher Gilbert said you guys should talk about Fish Tank Live.
Is part 2 out right now?
I think that the 2nd season is underway at the moment, but I haven't I don't know. I haven't really kept up on what's going on. It's difficult though because it's a 24-hour live feed.
Yeah. And
it's not as like bite-sized as normal reality shows are. You just have to like see what's happening. I did see the cast announcement though. Shane H. Wilder said, also Matt Pat did a really good film theory over public domain when Blood and Honey came out. Public domain is a convoluted mess.
Yeah, that's like the number one thing that I was seeing is like a lot of people that got very excited about public domain lost a lot of that enthusiasm when they realized that it's a very, very difficult thing to
harder
navigate.
Than it looks.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's hold off on the rest and we will come back after the fact. Let's go ahead and let's talk about 2024 and movies. So it was really funny. I saw a lot of different breakdowns about what was going on with the movies in 2023. I did a video, if you guys didn't see, talking about this David Ayer tweet where he talked about the reaction that people have now where they seem to be going out of their way to be angry about movies. And in that, I got into a little bit about how the box office is going to be framed for this past year that we just experienced as basically what we're experiencing right now is a bit of a bounce back from what we had prior. It made about $9 billion at the box office this year, which is up from previous years during the pandemic in 2022, but it's not back to the 2019 levels of like $11 billion at the box office. But there was a tweet from Discussing Film very recently that was basically, it was like all the sequels that are going to be coming out in the next couple of years, and there's a lot of them. But I was looking at this last night. I want to show you this, guys. This is the absolute state of Hollywood. There's some stuff to look forward to, but this one right here, Twisters.
I don't know what the original Twister is.
Twister was the 1996, I believe. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the 1996 masterpiece with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. And what we're going to get now is Twisters with Glenn Powell and this other lady whose name I've never heard of before. And it's going to be hilarious because most likely you're going to get a bunch of ridiculous climate propaganda in Twisters. But on the list of
not the game Twister. It's about
tornadoes. Okay,
that makes sense.
So.
You're right. That is an easy climate propaganda angle.
On the list of movies that no one has ever asked, the sequels that no one has ever asked for, and it's not a sequel even. It says right here, Twisters is definitely not a Twister reboot or a continuation, says Glenn Powell. We're not trying to recreate the story from the first one. That's because it doesn't need to be. It would be like making a prequel to The Day After Tomorrow, The Day After the Day After Tomorrow, or something like that. Are you insane? Look at this list of movies. There are a couple of things on here that are objectively something to look forward to. Like I'm looking forward to Argyle. I'm, for the most part, looking forward to Dune Part 2. Ghostbusters Afterlife was good. This sequel could be fine. I don't know. Furiosa, the CGI looks really, really bad. You said If looked good to you.
Yeah, that's John Krasinski's kids movie. That looked kind of cute. It's about imaginary friends.
Ballerina could be fine. It's a John Wick movie. I was not a fan of the Continental TV show, but if it's a movie, I think that the series works better in film format than it does long form television. Bad Boys 4 was inevitable because Bad Boys for Life. The fact that they didn't save the name Bad Boys for Life for part 4 is insane. But it did so good pre-pandemic that it was always going to get a sequel. And maybe this will be Will Smith's redemption arc. If he can look cool in this movie, maybe people will forget all of the abuse he's been suffering at the hands of his wife. right?
I'm definitely looking forward to Joker Folie à Deux.
Yeah, and a lot of people are looking forward to Borderlands based on the game, and that's an Eli Roth, and Eli Roth is the one who made Thanksgiving, which did really, really well this year. And then Deadpool. A lot of people are looking forward to Deadpool.
Gypsy Rose went to the movie theaters like right after getting out of prison, and she said she really liked Thanksgiving.
There you go. Oh man,
why would you
go
first
see
thing you
Thanksgiving?
see be a slasher?
Bro, go see a comedy.
Go see Barbie.
Go see Barbie. Like Alien, Beetlejuice 2, maybe because Jenna Ortega.
That's going to do well just because Jenna Ortega is in it.
Venom 3 and Kraven are suffering from we're the Sony of it all for Marvel. I liked Venom. I didn't like Venom 2 as much.
The Madam Web trailer looked ass.
And on the list and I'm sorry, but Twisters might be the highest I've ever seen on the list of like who the hell was asking for this. But Gladiator 2 is right up there.
Is Russell Crowe?
No.
He's not in it.
He's not. He doesn't.
Well, who is?
I hadn't even heard of the actor, if I remember correctly. So, and then we're going to be getting a Lord of the Rings animated movie on.
It's painful.
On the Christmas season, a Karate Kid movie that has nothing to do with Cobra Kai.
Are they stupid?
And then
Cobra Kai was like a hit. Why don't they have that cast?
Sonic 3, which. I'll be fair, I loved Sonic 1 and 2, so Sonic 3 could be fine. I don't know. It's still a third in a series. And then this one.
Not necessary.
Mufasa, The Lion King, a prequel to The Lion King.
So Mufasa is his dad?
Yes.
And we don't know if it's animated or if it's the photorealistic, Uncanny Valley weird shit that everyone hated.
Yeah. I have no desire to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes because it doesn't have
title.
Matt Reeves in it. And it's just, this list is just...
Despicable Me 4?
And Transformers 1, which is an animated movie. So there's all of these things coming out, and all it says is bloat. And then again, of course, the number one thing everyone says is Hollywood is dead. There's no creativity. No, there's creativity. They will not greenlight creativity. We've had multiple people tell us, like, look, the scripts are there. They will never greenlight the scripts because there's no IP behind it. There's no chance to tie it in with other things. There's no brand recognition. They're not going to give it to you.
Why was it different decades before when they greenlit new ideas all the time?
Because these IPs were being built at that time.
Well, yeah, they didn't have the excuse to fall back on an existing IP at the time, but there's no less risk in developing something new.
Nowadays, I think a lot of it is because as we go to as tentpole films become more and more common, meaning that we're getting more of them released every year, everything that would have been greenlit for a movie, I talk about this all the time. It's the Tony, I call it basically, we need a Tony Scott. We need a big, like a mid-budget movie man who can make the movie like Deja Vu or Man on Fire. Like, actually, that was like $100 million. I think those ones cost, and that was like in the 90s. But the point is, you need those mid-budget movies that used to be, they would make part of their budget up in the theaters, but then they'd make the rest of it back on DVD sales and rental, like in basically selling out to rentals and stuff like that. And they're not doing that anymore, like because it all goes directly to streaming. And now we're seeing the way things are going with streaming. There's only going to be incentives for the people who actually make stuff that works.
That Amazon price increase was just twisting the knife.
I could do a whole video on.
That's $2 more expensive $3 more expensive monthly for an ad tier that they didn't ask you if you wanted.
No. It stays the same. Now, like what you pay now for Amazon Prime is the ad tier. If you want to pay the $3 more to get rid of ads, you have to sign up for it in pre-order.
Yeah. And you don't have expedited shipping anymore.
No.
Right.
You would still get that. So for what you're paying for Amazon Prime with your free shipping will now also include ads. But if you want Amazon Prime without ads, you got to pay $3 more. And I'm so beaten down by the system. I'm like, bro, can you just charge me the extra and not make me go through the process of having to sign up for it? Because I'm on my.
They're buck breaking you.
Basically, I'm like, bro, I don't want ads. Right? So,
Mickey 17 seems like an interesting premise. This has Robert Pattinson playing a clone who refuses to relinquish his gig when his replacement shows up. That it's not a full trailer yet. It's only a teaser.
Also,
but that's an interesting concept.
Also, the Fall Guy. We've talked about the Fall Guy. The Fall Guy looks. It's about.
We need a comeback of rom-coms, and this is a rom-com and action movie together. So it's like something for the guys and the gals.
Like the Sandra Bullock one.
It has star power, right? It's Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. And
looks good.
And it's got the kind of. If you saw Free Guy, or even if you liked a movie like Bullet Train, humor like in tone, it falls on that line there. But the rest of these, it's just like,
dude, Challengers looks awful. It's like an anti-rom-com.
Yeah.
This is supposedly being marketed to women. It is a love triangle story, except it has nothing to do with love. Basically, Zendaya stars in it as a tennis player. She has 2 white male love interests, and I'm not kidding you, she actually has a line in the trailer where she says, "I'm taking such good care of my little white boys."
So yes, Mary mentioning the race actually matters because she mentions the race in the trailer.
It's extremely, it is like kind of giving an interracial porn plot line, like interracial threesome.
Well, you can see from what they decided to use.
This is the thumbnail, okay? Like them on a bed, and Zendaya has a line where she screams at them, saying, "What makes you think I want anyone to fall in love with me?"
Women love that.
That really speaks to the female psyche. Yeah, they totally don't want to be fallen in love with. That's great. Market that to women and see how it goes. I really don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't even want to review it. So, moving on.
We are going to get Nosferatu this year, which is it's Robert Eggers' next movie. If you liked the movie The Northman, something to possibly look forward to.
I wasn't a fan of The Northman, but I guess it's still like a dude movie.
Yes,
right?
It's a dude movie. So the Joker, Folie à Deux will do well. I still believe that it's kind of a sign of the times. Like when Joker came out, it succeeded because the media was giving it the treatment and everybody was pushing back saying like you're being insane. Right now it's absolutely it's got the stamp of approval from the establishment, but it's already built its audience now, so it'll probably do fine.
So Deadpool this month we've got Night Swim coming out in a couple of days,
and Deadpool 3 was moved to 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I looked at the trailer for Night Swim, and it's literally just their backyard pool has a ghost in it.
Uh-oh.
What happens next when you play Marco Polo? Like, yeah, that's kind of low-hanging fruit. And then we're going to review the Mean Girls musical, which comes out next week.
And for the people
really looking forward to that.
For the people wondering about the Lord of the Rings one, it's an animated movie.
Yeah, is that CGI or is it going to be?
No, it's anime style.
Anime.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Go check out the trailer for that.
Well, if you can capture like the fan base for manga and anime and the fantasy genre fans, like the Lord of the Rings fan base.
So here's some of the
well.
And here's some of the release dates. Like Mean Girls and Beekeeper come out on the same day. I'm very sad. I'm gonna go see Beekeeper the next day.
Yeah.
Just literally to regain my sanity after having.
So it's an action movie. Like, does he?
He's a beekeeper.
He has to weaponize the bees, right?
I have no idea.
That must be part of it.
Like it's the trait. It's like there's also one from Aaron Eckhart called The Bricklayer, and it's like he's in retirement. He's just he's the ex-CIA guy. He's the secret agent who just wants to live his quiet life, and then something takes him out of retirement, and it's the revenge movies. It's what Taken was.
Sure.
Right. So we got that.
They are also re-releasing all of these flopped Pixar movies that went to Disney Plus. So
we've got Miller's Girl. That's the really, really controversial
false
Jenna
Me Too
Ortega
claims movie. We should review that.
And Argyle in February. I'm definitely want to review that one.
You want to see Dua Lipa on the big screen? I don't know what Scrambled is. This is a Lionsgate comedy movie. Maybe it's about chickens.
And then Madam Web and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 both come out on the same day. So we'll probably have to review Madam Web and then go see Winnie the Pooh after the fact. Also, the Bob Marley biopic comes out that day.
The preview for the Bob Marley biopic was so corny. I'm tired of the biopics. Not everyone needs or deserves a biopic.
Bob Marley deserves a biopic.
Why?
He's a pretty big deal.
Is this just a generational thing?
It's a generational thing.
And the trailer was just so cookie cutter. It was like, I want to change the world. Yep. And they do like a really over the top accent.
Somebody's saying Deadpool 3 was I thought it was moved to 2025. I'm gonna double check on that here.
Kung Fu Panda 4 is gonna probably make a lot of money.
But we also get Dune 2 in March.
Yes. I still need to finish the first Dune. I couldn't get through it.
Okay, it got moved up. July 2024. So it's this year, July 26th.
All right.
So we will be getting that this year.
No longer March.
No longer March.
Okay.
So there's a lot coming out, and I will say that most of it. My hope is that there's some sleeper hits on streaming that end up working. Like getting Extraction 2 was really, really good for me this year. Shows like Twisted Metal that I really, really enjoyed. But it's like you can only expect so many of those every year, and most of our reviews go to theaters, right? Like we end up going to see these bigger budget movies that take more. But Frozen Empire from Ghostbusters is March 29th. Civil War, if you remember, that was the A24. Was that A24 Blumhouse? It was A24, right?
I'm not sure.
That comes out
that was A24.
That comes out the same day as Challengers. So I say we go see Civil War in protest of the movie Challengers. Deadpool is March 3rd. So originally it said March 3rd, but now it's been moved. Fall Guy comes out March 3rd.
The Godzilla x Kong New Empire trailer was just so male-brained that I couldn't do it.
And it's going to have a hard time capturing any audience after Godzilla -1 caught the fan base the way that it did.
Yeah.
So Despicable Me 4 is on July 3rd. Mufasa on July 5th.
So dumb.
So I don't know what you want to do. And Venom on July 12th.
Okay.
So there's supposedly this says Captain America Brave New World on July 26th. I don't know if that one's been moved.
Oh, I overheard a normie conversation about Marvel movies.
What were they saying?
They thought that they stopped making Marvel movies.
Why?
I'm serious. They thought that, what was it? They thought Endgame was the last Marvel movie that came out. I'm serious. They didn't even know that they kept making them.
Yeah.
They're like, Marvel needs to come back. Like, why did they stop making movies?
I really liked that. Like they.
I really liked Avengers Endgame. They're flopping hard.
And then we've got Craven on August 30th. We've got Beetlejuice on September 6th. Then we've got Saw, 11 on September 27th. Joker on October 4th. And then was it Smile 2? Again, another movie that didn't need a sequel, but because it did so well.
Surprised Beetlejuice would be not closer to Halloween.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wicked is coming out November 27th. Can't wait to see my favorite celebrity couple in that one.
There's an
untitled Disney animation also scheduled for the same day.
Wonder what that one will be. There's just a lot of apathy for most of this stuff, right? Like people are exhausted. People are sick of the repeated of the over franchising of all of these properties, that they're not getting anything new. But at the same time, whenever they get something new, it's very hard to sell people on these ideas because, they don't get the marketing push that they do.
The creator didn't do well.
No, there's a lot of these movies don't get but they don't earn the word of mouth. They don't earn the word of mouth that they expected. The Godzilla -1 didn't do well because it had this massive marketing campaign. It did well because people started talking about it. Much in the same way that Top Gun Maverick, sure, it had a decent marketing budget, but people were talking to their family and friends about it, so more people went and saw it.
Right. Well, let's finish up these super chats.
Let's do
it. Shane H. Wilder said, "Who knew Minnie was played by Danny Trejo?"
Kind of looked like it, right? He had the mustache to me of the Iron
We need to get a better look at him. Yeah. Corey Anderson said, "The end of the year is always the worst. I missed PCC. Mary, you looked great in pink." Thank you. T-Dog said, "Are you guys even film buffs or appreciate the art of cinema? Also, as an evangelical, did I commit a sin going to see Bottoms? We'll never see Bros." I don't know. We didn't see either one of these either. would you consider yourself a film buff?
No, I consider myself.
I don't either.
Like in all things, it was really funny. We were talking about this on Saturday, where they're like, welcome all you nerds, and I'm like, I don't actually ascribe to the label of nerd because I think of that as stolen valor. There are actual nerds who know everything.
You're inviting the ire of actual nerds by calling yourself one.
That would be stolen valor. They've earned their label as being a nerd, and that's to them, to a lot of that's a compliment. And I would never give that label to myself because in most instances, I consider myself very much a normie.
Mm-hmm. Organized Business Services said, I saw Casey Anthony downtown West Palm Beach at Roxy's Pub after a long day at work yelling at people, and she moved to North Palm near me. Why me, Mary?
It's a very good question.
Okay, first you tell us that Epstein came up to you at West Palm Beach asking you to help him money launder, and now you're trying to make us think that Casey Anthony is one of your neighbors.
It's giving some of the Theo Vaughn stories that just don't sound like they could be true at all.
I don't know, man. We're gonna need some receipts. Shane H. Wilder said all of these she/its know each other. Shocking. Yeah, they can only tolerate each other. Sir Renko Productions said cluster Bs tend to find each other because no one else wants to put up with their histrionic, narcissistic personalities. That's why they're quote unquote friends.
Well, one of my biggest problems is we're not in the era of friends. We're in the era of allies, and I don't want allies. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I want actual, genuine friends and people that I work with, coworkers and friends. I don't need somebody who only talks to me because we believe some of the same things.
Mm-hmm. The Undertaker said his calling it the oppression totem pole disrespectful to Indians. Might need to do penance at a casino to atone. Try the firewater, so good. Okay. Firewater, so good. DCNC said Moto Girl in chat reminds me that Mrs. McLean gives a fake surname as a plot device, being under duress as a hostage, and not wanting to be connected to the protagonist in the eyes of Professor Snape. Wait, what?
The actor.
The same actor? Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Yeah, I got that. But I don't know. I didn't find her character to be likable. Am I wrong, Brett? I just didn't see them as different. I want them to be together.
It's different because I watched that movie at a time when I still firmly believe that the time period in which you watch a movie plays a huge role in how you perceive it. A lot of the things that you've forgiven of movies in the past when these types of tropes were used before is because it was at a time when the culture wasn't so politically charged. So my opinion of it is probably colored in the fact that I saw it many, many years ago before all of this was an issue.
Mm-hmm. And when they were looking for the specific Japanese businessman, I forget his name, I felt like they should have done something. If they had any balls, the Japanese businessmen all in the room would be like, I'm him, right? Yeah. They would have all raised their hands, but they didn't. They didn't try to stand up for the guy.
You should watch the other Die Hard. There's so many.
Really?
There's 8, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's
wow, I didn't know that.
I think what was the last Die Hard that came out? A Good Day to Die Hard? I don't remember what the last one was, but it was in.
No thanks.
I think it was one with Jai Courtney when they were trying to make Jai Courtney a thing. Hollywood really wanted that dude to be the next big thing, and everyone's just collectively nah, it's not gonna happen.
Potatoes for Seamus said, hi Mary, hope you had a merry Xmas. Christmas. Hi, Brett.
Well, thank you.
With a bunch of olives.
Oh, green is that olives. What those are?
Green olives.
I thought those were grapes or something
No. Shane H. Wilder said Mary is right. It was the weird simps. I'm glad you enjoyed the short though.
5 diehards.
07. Urashima Otaru said CalendarGate, more like calendar gay. Am I right? You're so right.
When Mary said she wanted to talk about it today, I'm like,
we have to. Yeah. It's the elephant in the room. The Undertaker said it's okay to argue with strangers on Christmas. Christ said he came not to bring peace, but a sword, just doing my part to carry the legacy forward.
I do love whenever Hollywood uses specific quotes to justify a bad character's actions. They always have the
That's one of them.
That's one of them. There was an episode of Criminal Minds where, first of all, it was it was a religious cult. It was basically supposed to be Waco or Ruby Ridge. esque in its tone, and it was played by not Jason Priestley, who was the one who passed away recently, but when he does it, he uses that line after like then hitting someone. I'm like, could you come up with something more
Not
creative?
sure that's what he meant by it. Potatoes for Seamus said, "Let's go. How's the hot dog stand, Brett?"
Hot dog stand.
And Frank's.
Oh,
it's
going very, very well. I'm making hand over fist.
200 Watt Studio said, okay, I'm not gonna read that. The Undertaker said, "Mary, bring back shame. Also, Mary, not you, Pearl." Well, the thing is, Pearl wasn't even trying to shame me. She was trying to like compliment me, and I am still not interested. Urashima Otaru said, "Mary is part of the fashion Illuminati. Hashtag confirmed."
How does that work?
I don't know. They haven't invited me to any of their meetings.
You have to get in on one of those.
Disappoint.
Also, guys, I would like to know what you guys think. So we did a series of videos over the break about pop culture conspiracies, and you guys seem to really enjoy the video about the possibility that John Benet Ramsey is both AI and or Katy Perry.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that we might try to add one of those videos a month, maybe like second or third week of the year, on like a second Saturday of every month. We give you a pop culture conspiracy video.
Yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions of celebrity or pop culture related conspiracy theories, we'll look into them.
Luke Perry, thank you guys. That was who died.
Bucky Ducky said, "Overlord Mary is going to bring back the Dark Ages."
I ended the poll. I didn't even need to be told today.
Most of them no.
70% say no, they don't do New Year's resolutions. Yeah, they live their New Year's resolution all year long. That's what it is.
That's the true grind set. Yeah. Not that John Stewart said, "Saw your tweet. It's a cute dress." Hi, Brett. Thank you.
They like to say something to you and then just at least acknowledge me, which I appreciate.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Wait, Mary's not a mechanic. Damn, I was needing help with the transmission on a 2020 Nissan Rogue. Whatever will I do now? Brett, can you help?"
I can get you a number to a mechanic. I did sign up for AAA this year. I felt like that made me an adult in some way, shape, or form. It was so cheap. It's like $99 for the whole year. Like for a year's worth of roadside assistance. Why not?
Yeah. I'm just on I'm still on my family AAA. So Corey Anderson said, "Mary, what is up with the Catholic Church lately? Blessing trans folk and no Latin mass. Devil has infiltrated the church."
Well, I can tell you what it is. CalendarGate
It was CalendarGate.
CalendarGate just cycled down into the Catholic Church.
The explanation is simple. CalendarGate is the reason. No. I don't get into like church politics on the internet. It's far too much information for me to possibly consume, and I just keep my head down and keep praying and going to mass. Like I don't really get into these types of conversations on the internet. But I did hear a homily from my priest on Sunday that finally addressed the matter, and I said thank you for saying that. Like, I feel like in my parish, like these aren't issues that are being like swept under the rug. At least I appreciated that we can talk about it out in the open. 200 Watt Studio said Twisters was my favorite Axel Braun film. What?
Porn director.
Oh, and speaking of which, then, the Undertaker said, "I checked out the calendar. Yep, it's porn. I lived before the internet. When you had to use a Sears catalog and a lot of imagination, this'll work."
There's a scene from the show White Collar where they're dealing with a counterfeiting case, and Neil, who's the con man criminal who works for the FBI, has to get resources from the Secret Service about or who is it? Who the one? Yeah, it's the Secret Service that takes care of the money, like money printing and everything like that have access to. And He's like looking at like how the bills are made. He's got like these cutouts of how the bills are made, and he's got this huge smile on his face. And Peter's basically like, he's like, these agents are very uncomfortable. You look like a 12-year-old who just found the lingerie section of a Sears catalog.
Why would Sears have a lingerie section anyway?
I don't know.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Will the Beekeeper fight Nick Cage?"
Yes. Oh,
is
God.
he in it?
Yeah. No, he's not.
Oh, okay. Bucky Ducky said, "Mary, as good as it is, you don't need to finish Dune, but you need to finish Rogue One." I don't want to do either, to be honest. I intend to watch both.
I didn't watch Rebel Moon. People were crapping on it so hard. I was like,
I wasn't planning on watching Rebel Moon.
I was like,
at
I'm
all.
having such a good break. I'm just gonna not.
Yeah, not subject yourself to that. Bookstore Thor said, "Fall Guy looks great, but it's based on a TV show."
Okay, I didn't know that. But
Oh,
it looks good. It's gonna be fun to check that one out.
Brett didn't know that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Latveria said, "I've been to funerals that were more fun than half the 2024 tentpole movies sound."
Yeah.
Carnell said, "If there were any films this year that have a chance of making $1 billion at the box office, which ones do you think can pull it off? P.S. Missed you both."
Well, that's actually a really interesting question. Like, I'm gonna pull up the list again. So, what do you think of these movies? Do you think could make $1 billion?
In Kung Fu Panda, I think.
Yeah.
Despicable Me, because the Minion movies keep doing well.
I mean, could Joker double up and do it again?
Maybe. And maybe Bad Boys 4. Right?
No.
Bad Boys for Life did well.
Not $1 billion well.
And Dune 2.
Dune, perhaps. Joker, perhaps. Maybe if some great press comes for the Lord of the Rings, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know if Mufasa is going to make $1 billion.
Not even close.
But I mean, this will be really interesting because you usually get at least 1 or 2 a year that hit the $1 billion mark. So we'll have to see which one of these does it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are also more that are going to get announced, right?
These look like the big ones, but we'll have to wait and see if there's any.
Shane H. Wilder said, "What if Untitled Disney Animation is the name of the movie? I mean, Wish shows that they already gave up on trying to put out anything good." Yeah, they're just going to put out Untitled Disney movie and see how many people go.
They always put that when they have like an open spot date, they just put like Untitled so-and-so movie. That's a placeholder.
We'll have to see. The Underp Taker said, "A lot of guys are closet nerds and don't know it. They'll usually know way too much about something like football or hockey stats. You're okay, Brent."
I think when I was on that stream and I made that same point, somebody said like everybody's a nerd about something. I said, well, I could tell you a lot about the USA Network.
Yeah.
Or no, what was the guy's, there was somebody tweeted something really funny to me. It was the greatest backhanded compliment I've ever gotten. Said, your ability to memorize the incredibly mediocre is unmatched.
You do bring a lot of encyclopedic knowledge.
For instance, guys, the show Las Vegas is now on Peacock. Go and watch it. If you want 2003 dad TV with James Caan and Josh Duhamel.
Every actor. It's kind of crazy.
It's been known to happen.
High Voltage 75 said 100K stream idea. Brett and Mary switched places for a day and tried to imitate each other the best they can, like a Freaky Friday situation.
I'm not wearing that pink dress. I'm not doing
You don't have to wear a pink dress, but will you wear a blonde wig?
I'm not sitting in that seat. I can't sit in that seat.
We can just, we can sit in our normal seats, but like we can dress as each other. Somewhat.
I don't think I can wear a blonde wig. Maybe.
No?
No.
It'll get uncomfortable. It'll get scratchy.
I'm not doing that.
I could sit here and say it is what it is, and I don't have an opinion on that.
Backhand right there, guys. That's a huge backhand right there. No, or at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. But what are mine?
I'm not reading that. And then something really judgmental.
Yeah, you can just be like judgmental and evil the entire time and like scream at people.
I can be really, really judgmental.
Shame!
And
shame!
Hoity-toity. I'll call it hoity-toity.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Not That John Stewart said, not only is Alan Rickman both Hans Gruber and Professor Snape, Die Hard was his first movie as an actor. He had done TV roles prior.
Love Alan Rickman.
Corey Anderson said green olives stuffed with garlic. Yum, so good.
I love green olives, no garlic. I saw somebody pointing this out recently. Like they showed me all of these different flavors of olives, and I'm like, just no.
Do you have the gene that makes you taste soap in cilantro?
I've never in my life even bothered to try cilantro.
You definitely have eaten it like unknowingly then. That means you don't have it.
Well, I've never tasted anything that I think knowingly tasted like soap, so probably not.
We have our answer. Courier626 said, I haven't watched y'all since last year.
Good.
You got us. Shane H. Wilder said, there's always money in the hot dog stand or banana stand. Also, I want PCC branded tinfoil hats.
That's a good idea. See, a lot of people were like, when all of the conspiracy videos were coming out, they're like, I like the direction this channel is going.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was really funny the amount of people who commented without actually watching the video, because it's like neither of us put a stamp of approval on any of these, and we basically said, this is an interesting idea. We don't necessarily think this is real, but let's talk about it. And they're like,
I can't believe you believe this garbage.
Yeah, lots of that.
Shane H. Wilder, High Voltage 75 said, I liked the OJ and Chloe conspiracy. Seemed the most credible to me. See, someone believes it. I believe it. I, at the very least, believe that she is not Rob Kardashian's daughter.
Did we miss a $20 one here from Undertaker? This January one?
Oh, I didn't read that one.
Sorry,
Whoops.
Derp.
He said people get intimidated by a big resolution. Instead of resolving to go to the gym for a year, resolve to go 10 days in January, then 12 days in February, keep stepping it up. If you fail, you start anew with the new month.
Yeah, so during COVID and a little bit before COVID, I ended up skating and making a skating edit every day for over 2 years. And it didn't start out that way. I was just like very, very like, I needed to make changes in my life, and I was skating a lot more at that time. And this was around the time where after I had been out of rehab for a lot of years, but I'd been prescribed to Suboxone for a lot of years as well as like a maintenance program, and got off that right going into that time period and found myself needing more physical activity. And it just started by one day I went out and skated. Then the next day I went out and skated. And it didn't turn out to be something like, there was something at the time called like the 30-day blade challenge, where it's like you challenge yourself as a skater who's older to go out and skate every day for a month. Mm-hmm. Because the idea is like, look, a lot of people will leave comments like, oh, I'm so jealous. Like I'm so busy with work. I got so much stuff to do. The idea is like, yes, you have a job, but even if you just go out for 5 minutes, put them on. And a lot of people, when they do it, it's like, yes, some of those days you skate a bunch, but a lot of them you just get on, you do 1 or 2 tricks, and then you're done. But the point is you made the effort and the time to go and do it, even if you didn't have that much time at all. And that's how you make change, slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm. The Manic Mustache said, I'm not going to read that. Gordon Shumway said, my buddy, the bartender, makes us drink MD 2020 for New Year's since 2020. You can't have any resolution after that horrible life choice.
Drink what?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
MD 2020?
I don't know what that is.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, we need an end to Mocha-gate. Justice for Mocha. Are we going to end Mocha-gate in this episode, or is that...
Somebody provided me with a possible solution, which is that I could feature Mocha as cringe of the day.
Wow, I can't believe I never thought of that.
And no.
Oh, that's also a no.
You get no cat. Sorry.
Okay. Not that John Stewart said, saw Barbie on Max. I get all the Ken hype. Gosling is such a good actor.
He is. That movie's also going to, it's really funny watching the revisionism on that movie. Like now that movie's not looked at as like the crap that it was. Like there's definitely some people that
it wasn't good. That's for sure.
Walked it back a little bit, and it's now getting a little bit whitewashed.
It was tolerable. Yeah. Like it was fine.
The speech from America Ferrera ruined it for me. As good as that.
I would never rewatch it. No. That's what I'll say. I would never voluntarily rewatch it. Hiroshima Otaru said, cover the Stevie Wonder can see conspiracy.
Yeah, that'd be good. A lot of people believe he's actually got eyesight.
Yeah, it's sort of like how all of Gen Z decided that they don't believe Helen Keller was real.
Yeah.
They like don't even believe it was a real person. Mm-hmm. Shane H. Wilder said, my priest did the same on his Sunday homily, Mary. He knew it was important to keep things in the open. High Voltage 75 said, I'm not reading that just because. Bucky Ducky said, don't say it is what it is. Say it's what it's.
I can't do that. I'll trip up on that every single time.
Bucky Ducky said, y'all need to use a different thumbnail for videos that are not stream clips so they stand out, like change the color of the green border or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Kind of how I like when I did the video, the Have You Seen series, I had a separate thumbnail made for that. Like we'll see if maybe for those clips we can get a unique thumbnail made.
Mm-hmm. Corey Anderson said, I have a Cast Castle headcanon where Mary is extremely snooty to all other castle mates.
You just walk around like this.
It's not just a plot line, it's true. That's how I really am. The rest of them aren't showing up for me yet.
Frankentosh says, guys, it's officially an election year. Only one thing we can do now. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, he wants to do the lyrics from Dr. Dre. He's telling you to smoke the reefer every day. You shouldn't do that.
The reefer? Do people call it that these days?
No, they did in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah, disavow.
Mikey says, MD 2020 is Mad Dog 2020. Apparently that's alcohol. Well, I haven't drank alcohol for many a year, so like...
I'm not really a connoisseur either.
And then and then Not That John Stewart says Mad Dog 2020 equals alcohol, or is alcohol. Not my thing. So all right, guys. But, we got another crisis party, so that might be a post-credit scene for everybody. But before we go, I want to wish you all a happy new year as well again, and let you know that again we are on our way to 100,000 subscribers. So please, if you have not yet and you've managed to stick it out all the way through this live stream, what the hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, would you please? Mary, where the hell can they find you?
You can send me validation on, on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. Thank you again.
I don't think Mary's going to want to. Do you want to read this one, Mary?
What?
Do you want to read this one that came through here?
Why would I not?
Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead and do it.
He says, conservatives love big booga ladies, but they have to act like they're outraged to save face for their wives.
Ooh.
Not happy with that one, he says.
The conservative dads.
Yes. They gotta pretend like they don't. All right, one more from the Underp Taker says, skip me twice in one show. Is it personal? Bro, what did we skip? We went back and reread the $20 one.
There's one from DCNC that you just scrolled past.
Where? Brett, get any practice at parties over the break? Yes, I went to just
lots and lots of parties.
Lots. I just went to endless parties. I went from one New Year's Eve party to the next New Year's Eve party.
It wasn't even New Year's Eve yet.
I was the life of all of those parties. No, I didn't do any of that. Sorry. One more from Paytas for Seamus says, Brett, we loved you even if it's Friday. Even if it is Friday. It's not Friday, though. I wish it was Friday. That'd be great. It'd be the weekend again. I overslept today almost. So, all right. Again, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe if you have not done so already? On our way to 100,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. I had a post the other day asking who the hell you guys would like to see on this channel in 2024. Maybe go find that one or tweet at me about who you would like to see on this show. And we're going to try our best to get as many great guests as we can in the new year. And this show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd like to listen rather than watch. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Later.